three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman, from the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 107 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live. I am your Blacksploitation host, Mahmoud Abdul Raouf, aka Moodz. Next up, we have the man who is not only of a million words, but also of a million podcasts, Double Shot J, aka JP. And last up, we have the CEO and mayor of the Hall of Fuckers, NES Ruler 22, also known as JJ, Jeremy the Jew. What's going on, guys?
I just want to say right now, fuck Billy. Billy's definitely in the Hall of Fuckers because that review of The Howling was the biggest piece of shit I've ever heard in my life, so fuck you, Billy.
And this is coming from a guy who also sucks at reviews.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm saying your review's bad, that means a lot because my reviews are fucking horrible, so yours must be really fucking bad. At least I could say more than this movie sucks and then give it a 1 out of 10, which, have you ever even seen a 1 out of 10 movie, dude? The Howling is not a 1 out of 10 movie.
No, The Howling 7 is like a 1 out of 10, not The Howling. Yeah, I almost for a second felt bad for tearing him a new asshole on the Facebook page, but I felt it was just. I'm like, dude, you didn't even review the film. It was a 2.5 minute video, and he basically gave you the length of the film, the IMDb rating. He gave you one adjective to describe the film, which was horrible, and that was it, and said he didn't recommend it. That's not a fucking review. I mean, if you're going to take the time to make a video, at least think it out decently. That was embarrassing. And then, man, I've never clicked on a video before and seen 0 thumbs up and 17 thumbs downs on a video.
It's up to 19 now.
Holy
It's
fuck.
up to 19 now.
But it's just though, man, because did you guys actually read some of the comments on there?
Oh, yeah.
One of the guys was like, I'm a longtime follower of Body Bags, and he goes, this is a fucking disgrace. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm not watching these videos anymore.
Wow.
He's like, this is disrespectful to the Body Bags channel and the hosts and past and whatever. And I was like, fuck. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's all Derek's fault. Way to go, Derek. No, I'm just joking. It's not your fault, Derek.
So, yeah, I mean, I tried to I don't think I really commented on the post publicly because, I don't know, like you, I was sort of feeling a little bad, but I messaged you guys a little bit, or at least the Horror Click chat, and I just find it disgraceful because as, you know, reviewers or critics or whatever you want to call it, like, we put a lot of time and effort into perfecting our craft. At least I do. You know what I mean? And no, I'm not the best reviewer out there. You know, not even fucking close.
Well, with that said, I mean, every one of us, like, I mean, you look at all three of us. I mean, me, you, and Jeremy. We all have different styles of reviewing films. That's not even a style at all. I mean, that's literally just, I don't know what the fuck, man. Like, I don't even know what to call it. It's
offensive to the people that do put in the work because it's lazy reviewing. It's lazy critiquing.
That's what I was trying to get to him. I was like, dude, you know, people put a lot of effort into this shit, man. If you're going to post up on a channel that, you know, has a decent amount of followers and viewers and things like that, I mean, you might want to think this through for at least 5 or 10 minutes before you just put up a video. You can tell that he didn't think about it at all. He's like, this is horrible. That's not a review. And,
you know, I've had terrible videos in the past that I've done. Like, I mean,
I watch his Hellraiser reviews.
I don't know if I was on the level of Cool Dude Jeremy, but I definitely had some bad reviews.
Hey, I'm better than Coolduder, okay? I at least talk about my movies.
Oh, is it Coolduder now? Is it Coolduder? I thought it was Cool Dude.
But no, seriously, like, I have come such a long way. Like, I actually think that I'm solid now, but like,
if you look at like progression, I've gotten, you know, leaps and bounds ahead of where I was when I first started this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that because I didn't just get better by just only doing it, but I put in work to like, you know, learn what things mean and like learn about film a little bit and pay attention to things that I see and inconsistencies and stuff like that. So
next up on JP's learning list is aspect ratios.
Yeah, 4:3, 16.9.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, I'm the wrong dude to ask about that.
JP's
stuff.
one time made me laugh so hard. He's like, yeah, those are just numbers to me. Whatever. He bursted out laughing. I was like, that is the funniest comment ever.
Like, okay, so 16:9 is widescreen, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then 4:9?
4:3.
4:3.
4:3. That's full screen, right?
No, that's just like the square.
Oh, okay. What's full screen?
Pretty much 4:3, but
that's essentially what it is. I mean, you're gonna see that with those big black bars on the right and left. That's
I don't know what any of that. I mean, I know a little. I know a little bit, but yeah, I don't really care to learn that much either. But yeah, so I mean, we didn't even plan on talking about that Horde review, but we ended up doing it, I guess. But
because he's in the Hall of Fuckers, and I also want to say another new fucker, fuck Austin for defending Coolduder. So fuck you, Austin. Okay, that's my Hall of Fucker intro.
I don't even know what that's about.
Fucking Austin Schroeder, or however the fuck you pronounce his name, defended Coolduder by saying his videos were enjoyable, and that's not cool. No pun intended.
Yeah, but
I think
I said this on the page. You are a fan of Coolduder.
I'm not a fan of Coolduder. The only reason why I clicked on it is to thumb it down.
To thumb it down? Oh, now the truth comes out.
I'm here to thumb it down, but I'm just going to watch the 22-minute while
I click on it and I thumb it down. And that's
Except for you tell me everything that happened in the video, even though I never ask you what happened in the video.
Because he clearly looks at our fucking page and says shit that is directly from our page into his videos. And I know he's fucking getting it from our page because we talk about it on our page, and then all of a sudden it fucking ends up in one of his videos, and that's some fucking horseshit bullshit.
Really?
Yes.
That's great.
Jeremy did have a little bit of evidence on this one time, and it was pretty... So I don't know if...
Fill me in on this, because honestly, I will be true. Like, I barely ever click on his videos. I would have never noticed this. So what did he steal?
What? He didn't steal anything.
He didn't steal anything. He just
he
just said something. He's like, "Oh, I know what it is. Friday the 13th. This set right here, the Friday the 13th Part 3 and the Friday the 13th Part 4 Warner Brothers double feature set." I was talking about when I found it at FYE, how it was hard to find it out of print. And then, on his next Tuesday video, he goes into FYE and he says, "Oh, yeah, if you guys see the Friday the 13th Part 3 and Friday the 13th Part 4 set, you should buy that because that's pretty rare and out of print and hard to find." So I know that.
Didn't he even say that he saw that in a group?
I don't know, but I know that motherfucker. I think he did. Fucking...
So he said, "I seen somebody say in a group that this, that, and the other."
My question is, he's in our group?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in our group. He's an OG, dude. He's been in there forever, years.
And never posted once, so just borrows the content that's,
I don't know. I mean, allegedly. I don't know if it's true.
I mean, that's
awesome. But
that's not the... I mean, really, he's just, taking our research and making himself look good. Whatever. I don't know, man. I think that's pretty funny, actually. But it wouldn't be so bad, if you, post once in a while. But yeah, I don't know. And let me guess, he still didn't buy anything in that video because Jeremy, you watched the whole fucking thing, didn't you?
He says this one at least 50 times a video. Like, we'll go, and this one is $29.95, and this one, which is the 4K, and this one is also $24.99, and this one, which is the DVD, and this one is $14.99. It's like, how many times could you say fucking this one in one video?
More evidence. It
blows my fucking mind.
More evidence that Jeremy watches the entire videos. Because he's keeping a tally.
And I thumb it down. I have to thumb it down.
Oh, my Lord.
You might be the only person in existence that actually admits that they thumb down things.
I thumbed down the Howling video. That thing was shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'll thumb down something if I genuinely don't like it. Like, I'm not opposed to thumbing down, but I don't do it often. I don't really watch much stuff either.
Only Coolduder, my friend.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So what's been going on? Anything new in the lives of the Jew and JP? What's going on, you guys?
Dude, I just got slammed this week, man. We had an inspection, and it was busy the whole time, so I honestly didn't get to watch much stuff. I did watch a couple of things, and obviously our featured reviews, which is a little Blacksploitation special for the week. But yeah, I mean, it was rough to squeeze everything in. I was dead tired when I got home. I kept falling asleep and stuff, so... definitely one of the more rough weeks for actually preparing for the show. Definitely. Probably the roughest I've had, honestly.
Did they find the supply of used crack pipes and needles in the basement?
No, we found a worker today found a syringe outside, though.
Oh, yeah?
Which I haven't seen one of those in a long time. So.
That's nasty. That's nasty. Jeremy, what have you been up to? I haven't talked to you.
Well,
how was your break from the show?
It was pretty good. I didn't have to hear your voice, so it was pretty nice. No, it was nice. Got a job for the next 3 weeks working on this Capri Sun commercial. Yeah, advertisement. No.
3 weeks to do a commercial?
No, it's only 1 day, but I'm helping like prep it and driving the people around to airports and
your favorite part of the job, isn't it? Driving.
Yeah, driving. But I get to drive this nice fucking GMC fucking fully loaded truck, so it's pretty nice. So I've been doing that, so I'll be doing that till the end of the month, and then I got another job August 2nd to the 4th, so it's been busier than fucking what I'm used to, so it's good. I fucking just bought a car, so I need the job.
Yeah.
The jobs.
Well, I'm still surviving. I'm still surviving.
What the fuck have you been doing, Moodz? You never talk about your fucking job.
BC is, still under state of emergency and is still burning to shit over here and still dodging fires, as you guys heard last week. But it's been fucking
unless
nuts
you're
here.
Able to predict the future, you might want to reword that.
No, I said as you guys heard last week.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. Oh no, it would be last.
It would be last. little breaking the fourth wall here.
I was referring to last week as in last show.
Yeah, well, you actually didn't say that though. You said BC's still under the state of emergency. It doesn't matter. We're recording this show 2 weeks before it airs, guys.
Whatever, you can just cut all that out.
No, it's funny. Fuck that.
But yeah, no, it's been rough here, man. It's been rough. We're getting a little bit of rain and shit, which is actually good. But yeah, I'm still dodging fires, and it's been kind of hectic, man. It's been really hectic. Jeremy, you asked me, I never talk about my job. Mm-hmm. Because, all I do is drive for like 12 hours a day. There's not really a whole lot to tell.
But you don't, you never say, oh, I'm at work when we're talking or anything like that. So I was like, I don't even know when you fucking work because you never talk about it.
Weird. I never noticed that he's his old job he used to talk
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, with this one, I just, 12 hours a day, I don't get a break at all. So there's probably long stretches of period where, I don't know if you guys realize, but I'm pretty MIA. So
what do you do?
Maybe that's not it. I'm a driver. I'm a delivery driver. So I work for Pure
What, dildos or what?
No, I drop off fucking packages at businesses. So I do
So you're like a mail guy?
In a sense.
So you went from the fucking head of WestJet?
No, I'm not a
being
mailman.
the fucking head of baggage at WestJet to being a fucking mailman?
Yeah, but I make more money doing this.
Yeah, mailmans get paid.
I know,
good,
but...
No, it was.
It's funny because
it was
our mailman actually sits there and he sits there and talks to us for 15 minutes every day.
Fucking, what FedEx and UPS and all this stuff. Yeah, that's what I do. I drive a big ass cube truck, and I drop off anywhere from 500 to 600 pieces a day, which is boxes essentially, and 150 stops kind of thing. It's just go. It's like a harder version of being a mailman.
Have you been seduced by any mature women?
You know, honestly, one time I thought it was happening. I was doing a resi at this lady's house. She answered the door in this pretty nice house coat, and she's like, "You want to come in and sign this?" I'm like, because we're actually not allowed to step in people's houses, like a liability thing. And I'm like, no. it was like really awkward. It was actually funny too, because it was the first.
Then you hear Jerry's voice in the background. Mom, come back in the house.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, it's a tough game. I mean, it's definitely a lot harder than my other job because I had a lot of downtime in this one. But days go by fast, so I like it. Huh. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun shit. So. No, I wouldn't really say fun. It's okay if you don't like to drive. Not the job for you. Oh yeah, I mean when I'm in my truck, I mean that's all I do. I listen to music. Podcasts are a little tougher because I'm in and out of the truck so much. I tried to listen to it. And I was like, I don't know, man. I was listening to Exploding Heads one time, and I just kept hearing Brandon say the same joke, and I was like, "Okay, fuck this." I gotta turn this shit off, man, because I kept missing things. Right? It was like, what did he just say? So I want to keep pausing my iPod.
Like fucking speakers in the back of your truck, so when you're fucking driving like your old car, your whole fucking truck is shaking.
Yeah, right.
Put some woofers in there.
But that's, essentially the day in the life of Mr. James Freud. So,
wow, the first time you've ever said your first name on the show.
If you want to call it that, but
yeah,
not really overly that exciting, but yeah. Let's get into some news.
Man. Yeah, so news this week is going to be pretty short, guys, because we're recording this in advance, and obviously we can't predict the future news, but one major happening did happen this week, and basically we launched a Patreon.
I thought you were going to talk about George, and you're like, some pretty big news happened this week. We launched a Patreon. Fuck Romero.
But yeah, so by now we'll know how that went. But yeah, so you guys could check that out, and maybe support us. Make Jeremy watch terrible things. I think Jerry said he's going to do that. He's going to make Jeremy watch terrible things.
I think I've actually heard people say they would pay to make Jeremy watch terrible things. So please do.
Yeah, please do.
Have fun with this. Have fun with this.
There is a awesome little perk there that allows you guys to pick a film for each of us to watch. It's like make us watch ×3 or something, or you can give all 3 to Jeremy, or 2 to me and 1 to Jeremy, or whatever. But the cool thing is if you are a monthly subscriber, you get that every month. So every month you get to make us watch 3 things if you pick that. So that's pretty cool. But in all seriousness, guys, we did lose somebody amazing to today at the time of us recording this. Mr. George Romero, it actually, as soon as Jeremy texted me, he texted me, by the way, this wasn't it. This, I don't know, it's serious. He texted me, not Facebook messaged me. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, no way. I knew it was real, but at the same time I was hoping it was fake, you know what I mean? And Mr. Romero, I didn't get to read anything about it. Did it announce how he died?
Lung cancer.
Yeah, I was saying lung cancer, so.
He was a heavy smoker. So it's very unfortunate. I just met George last summer, and I was supposed to meet him again this summer, but he canceled. And I remember saying when I talked about it, when I met him, I said that he didn't look great. You know what I mean? He was definitely, the years were catching up with him and stuff like that. And little did I know he might have been battling lung cancer. It's absolutely tragic. This is a legend, and honestly, probably one of the more underrated. When you look at his filmography, he has legit 3 10 out of 10s. You know what I mean? With Night, Day, Dawn.
I mean, when you really put it into perspective with a lot of the so-called masters of horror that we consider and the fans consider to be masters of horror, there's not a whole lot of directors out there that have that many potential 10 out of 10s in their filmography. It's crazy when you really put it in perspective.
Yeah, it is. And he is, the guy who created the zombie. Mm-hmm. Night of the Living Dead made our #1 most influential film of all time. So in turn, that makes George one of the most influential directors of all time. And I honestly do think that I've come to respect his filmography a lot more. And I was mentioning this to you guys a little while ago when we were talking about doing a potential director spotlight on George, where I was like, man, I love this guy's films, like Day of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, and of course like Creepshow, and you got Martin, and you know, even the second Dead trilogy has come a long way on me, like, and on fans. Like, I think people are actually starting to appreciate Land of the Dead as a way more than they used to. And same thing goes for Day of the Dead, which I also like. So I think that he's getting more respect with some of his other films besides the original Dead trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the world works in mysterious ways too. I mean, you know, it was 2 days ago Arrow announced the films between Night and Dawn box set, you know, and then 2 days later he passes away. It's kind of bizarre. And didn't Scream Factory like a week ago announce, or not week
Land
ago,
of the Dead.
They Land of the Dead recently too. So, and with those announcements, I think pretty much every film in his filmography has been on Blu-ray now, with the exception of Bruiser, I want to say,
and Martin.
Oh, and Martin also, yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of mysterious how, you know, this big announcement happens. You know, everyone's been kind of waiting for these films, and he passes away 2 days later. It's sad. It's very, very sad. I think George Romero is just not only one of the best directors horror has ever had, I think he's one of the most respected ones too. And he was a genuinely like an amazing person. I mean, everyone that I've ever talked to that's met him said nothing but good things about him. It's, you know, it's not like that Tom Savini effect where people have had mixed feelings about meeting him and stuff. Romero always, it just didn't seem like he had a bad thing to say or a bad bone in his body, which makes it even harder. But you know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, when you
and he was still working till the day that he died. I mean, like, those of you who know where I live, like, I live near Tom Savini's Makeup Effects School, which also has a film program that George, I believe, is the head of. Was the head of, and he was, you know, there, you know, he would do, you know, seminars and lectures and stuff there, and you know, meet with people. And not only that, but he was producing Road to the Dead, which is like, you know, was supposed to be like the next in the, you know, Romero zombie saga. He wasn't directing it, but he was like being, you know, he was like an advisor on it and like a producer or something like that, you know. So he continued to you know, fucking care about that stuff, you know. And he didn't have to at this point. He could have been like Carpenter and, you know, just send me a check. But I guess he was more involved in that, and there's nothing wrong with that either, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I respect that fully from Carpenter, you know. But yeah, it's another legend. I'm so glad that I got to meet him, honestly, because that's one of the only people I've ever met, and he was honestly like so kind, like he really was. And his wife was lovely, amazing person. She went out of her way to make sure that he came down and met us, and I think that that's an amazing thing to do. You know, you're being bothered by people all the time, 24/7, and you have the opportunity to avoid this meet. You know what I mean? But she's the one that suggested it. You know, I noticed that her name was Romero and George was there, and then she's like, I was like, you mean George Romero? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm, you know, a really big fan, honestly. And she was like, oh, well, then you have to meet him. And it's just like, oh, I have to meet him then. That's really cool, you know. That's such a cool thing to say. And she's like, I'll make sure you meet him before we leave. And she 100% did. So that, you know, I mean, that's just such a cool thing, you know, and that made my day, you know, and I still think about that day because it was so cool. It was so cool. And for somebody to be, you know, after decades of meeting thousands of people and hearing the same thing over and over again, to still be happy to sign an autograph. You know what I mean? That's a good dude right there. And I'm definitely saddened by this. And I know that it's going to happen more, you know, the John Carpenters of the world, the Tobe Hoopers, the Stephen Kings, like they're all up in age now, and it's going to continue to happen. We already are aware of this, but it's still shocking every time.
Even movie-wise, like, music-wise, I think about that all the time too. Like, all these guys are going to die soon, and it's like, it's shitty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we talked
about
this.
All these rock and roll guys. This sucks.
I think we talked about this a few years ago, even on the show. And even predicting people's deaths, you know, I mean, it's really not that hard to do now. I mean, people are getting up in age. Yeah. It's going to happen. It's all part of life. But like you said, it is still shocking. I mean, Romero's responsible for, you know, my favorite film of all time, and it's really sad. It's sad, but at the same time, you know, he lived a great life, and just time to celebrate his life instead of mourn his death. Yeah. So, in my opinion,
and that I've said multiple times on this podcast, you know, and in Facebook messages and groups and on YouTube, like, I find it funny when people try to discredit George, because I'm just like, dude, he created motherfucking zombies, homie. Like, this guy is amazing. He is 100% a master. 100%, homie. Like, you can't come at my boy like that and try to discredit his work. Like, you just can't do that. It's insane. And, you know, if anything happens when this happens, is he's more celebrated, right? Like, people are going to run out and buy that Arrow box set, and it'll probably be sold out tomorrow, you know, so you better go pre-order that thing, because it is limited. And, you know, like, I've never been more wanting to watch his movies than I am right now, to kind of pay respects, you know, soak it in, and really truly appreciate these amazing films, because Day of the Dead is you know, in my like top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Like, I think it's a masterpiece. And man, I don't know, man. It's just
two of his films are in my top 4 of all time. So it's, you know,
there you go.
Yeah. Actually, a pretty interesting fact about George Romero. 2009, he applied for his Canadian citizenship and got it. So he had dual citizenship through the U.S. and Canada, and he died in Toronto as a Canadian citizen.
And he lived in Toronto. Yeah. Which I've talked to. When I talked to him, we were talking.
Well, coming down to your area,
he said he loved it.
It's super close. It's only a couple hours away from Toronto to where you are. It's only a couple hours. So
yeah,
but
yeah, we just wanted to, you know, say rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Mr. Romero.
Thank you for all the great
definitely
memories.
Be missed. Definitely.
It's all fucking Jerry's fault.
So I can just see the fucking lowlifes right now. All the Romero stuff right now. eBay prices. Everyone's jacking the shit out.
I'm not gonna be shitty. I was looking at my Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray, thinking about it, going, they're gonna re-release this shit now.
Yeah, of course they are. But I will say this: if I don't want to hear anybody say anything about all the shows that are going to be covering Romero and all the posts about Romero, I don't want to hear a single person say, like, you know, enough, or like, of course, you know, of course they did an episode on Romero or something. Like who cares, dude? Like, let people celebrate him and you know, sort of relive everything, you know, and enjoy his work. Like, there's always those people that are so goddamn, you know, annoyed at everything, and it's just like, I hate when that it happened with Wes Craven, and I was like, I remember seeing somebody say, like, oh, you guys posted a Wes Craven show, like, typical or something. And I'm like, so what, dude? Like, what does that matter?
Yeah, man. Of course we did. Fans of his work.
I love that.
As fans of his work.
Want to talk about
I mean, the same person. I mean, if you're willing to be posting on there, you're obviously a fan, or else you wouldn't be part of this group or whatever. So as fans, why can't we just celebrate the man's life by talking about a couple films? What's wrong with that? I know. I feel you too, man. It absolutely makes no sense. It's kind of contradictory in a sense.
For the most part, we don't have a ton of those people around us, but I just hate seeing it. So, yeah, that's the lone news item this week. Very unfortunate news.
All right. Yeah, it is very unfortunate. It's such it's one of those things that we literally learnt like 5 minutes before we started recording tonight too. So, it's kind of put a damper on things a little bit, but
Yeah, I know. It's like, ugh. It's just sad.
Yeah. All right,
you guys want to move into box office breakdown?
No, we're not going to get into
box office brawl, son.
We're not going to get into that right away. We're going to get into Moodz Swingz, and starting off Moodz Swingz is going to be box office brawl is part of Moodz Swingz. You fucking dick face. Anyways,
well, fuck you.
Moodz Swingz DVD and Blu-ray releases for July 25th, 2017. First up here, man, we got a film called Awaken the Shadow Man. I actually laughed at this title. I don't know why. The Shadow Man, released by Gravitas Ventures. The fuck? I don't really know. It looks really bad. I don't really know what to say about it. But Awaken the Shadow Man. What is that? Like a Bye Bye Man ripoff already, or something?
Why would you want to rip off the Bye Bye Man? That movie fucking sucks.
I don't know. Maybe because it got a theatrical release. I don't know. Next up here from Severin, we've got Beyond the Darkness. The long-awaited Beyond the Darkness finally making it to Region 1 Blu-ray. I'm sure Severin probably did this awesome Italian film justice that it deserves. So yeah, Beyond the Darkness, can't go wrong with that. Be on the lookout for that one. This one right here, I'm not 100% sure if it's a horror film or not. It's got Antonio Banderas, Jonathan Reyes-Myers in it, and it is called Black Butterfly. I think it's more of like it seems like it's more of an action thriller type thing. Being released by Lionsgate, but Antonio Banderas, yeah, not too bad. Here's an interesting one from Scream Factory, and I think this is one I'm actually going to be picking up myself. Slither, making its way to Blu-ray. Yes.
What, Ghost in the Shell isn't important?
You know what? I liked Slither when it came out, but the last time I watched it, I did not love it.
Really?
Yeah.
For you people unfamiliar with Slither, it's actually James Gunn. I think it was his first film that he directed. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at his, but it's one of his first. It's one of his first films, of course. He went on to direct Guardians of the Galaxy, so he made something very, very huge for himself. But yeah, I haven't seen Slither in a while. But you said, upon rewatch, it wasn't holding up, or
I didn't think that I wasn't. I found it a little. I don't know. I just found the comedy kind of icky. The second time I watched it.
I haven't watched it in a long fucking time.
I loved it when it came out. I don't know. I found like the whole end part like kind of weak too.
I honestly have to rewatch it. It's been so many years since I've seen it, I can't quite remember. But as I'm looking at this collector's edition, the newly commissioned artwork for it, I can't help when I'm just kind of looking at the cover as a whole. The girl that's in the bathtub, surrounded by like the little creature things. To me, when I'm using my periph and I'm just kind of looking at it, it looks like pieces of shit floating in the bathtub. It looks
see that.
Looks like little dookies in there. It's fucking hilarious. But Slither, I know it has a fan base. I know JP's excited about this one. This one actually made his top 10 of 1996 from Dario Argento, starring his daughter Aja Argento, The Stendhal Syndrome. I've said on many occasions, I'm not the hugest fan of this film. I find that it drags in a lot of parts, and I just feel like it could have been tightened up and better. I know I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, I think a few people.
It's my third favorite Argento.
I think a lot of people are quite surprised at the outcome of that '96 show, where me being a huge Italian fan left this off my list, and you having it on there. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Just me and Dave. Yeah. I like it a lot. I thought I was getting a screener for it. Like I got confirmed for it, but it never showed up. But so I emailed dude and I was like, hey, I thought I was getting this thing.
I got mine.
And then he said that he would resend it. So hopefully I get it, because I'm down to check that out again.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Stendhal Syndrome 3-disc limited edition. I believe they're limited to 3,000 copies or something. Something rather.
Well, I know, like the 3-disc is.
The third disc is just the soundtrack, and then Blue Underground.
No, it's not the soundtrack. It's the bonus disc from 2007.
Oh, is it really? Okay, well then I've.
So we got
yeah, wait, I already have Stendhal on Blu-ray. I forgot about that.
So we got
that's already been on Blu-ray.
The features, and then we got a Blu-ray and the DVD.
Yeah.
Okay, because I have the special edition that Blue Underground released on DVD, so I might even have that shit. So okay.
Yeah, so is there anything? There is new stuff, because I've seen that they recorded interview.
And new audio commentary with a few people.
No Argento?
Argento doesn't do commentaries. He doesn't speak English really well at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up here is one that I have not even heard of. I don't know. Maybe I just bypassed me, but it's got Rosario Dawson and Katherine Heigl in it. And it's
no, don't talk about this.
A film called Unforgettable, so it's unforgettable.
Yeah,
or forgettable.
It bombed. it bombed really bad.
Yeah, from Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Super horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, the cast right away, I was like, oh, I don't know about this one.
It had an iffy production too, from what I remember reading about it.
From Vestron, we've got the Warlock collection.
Wow, that's already out? Jesus.
Yeah, so it's coming on the 25th.
So what's their August release?
That would be nothing.
I don't think
they don't do a release after a box set.
I don't think they've announced anything.
Oh man. So they probably won't be one until September then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's good, honestly. Like I just, because I think one of the biggest problems that we found with like Scream Factory was when we were trying to collect the line was that they were just coming out too fast, and for a line that's numbered, I surely don't want that to happen. Yeah. Have you guys noticed that their price points have went down a little bit? Because the Warlock collection, I had it pre-ordered for $24, which that's that's a fair price. That's under $10 a title. It's like 7 something.
Yeah, I think it's like double that on .ca. But yeah, I'm looking at the price point, $24.69. That's a pretty good deal for 3 films. So I'm kind of indifferent on the artwork, the newly commissioned artwork for it. It's okay. It's
okay. It looks Warlocky. It definitely looks
painful.
Warlocky.
It's not that painful.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
But no, seriously, these films to me are I love the first 2. I honestly do. I really do. Like, I know I feel like I'm the only person, but then I'll see somebody and be like, oh, I love Warlock. Like Warlock I love the first Warlock. Like, I like it a lot. I like it even more than I let on in the review. So I'm really happy with that. But I will be a little critical of Lionsgate. Like, they really, really, really need to put out a heavy hitter here, because so far they've released
they're losing
the stuff in the 8-pack, and then
the Gate was cool.
They're losing a lot of people's attention right now.
The Gate didn't get enough respect because that's a title that everybody wanted out for the longest time, and then when it came, nobody was hype.
I'm surprised people weren't a little more hyped about it, considering the DVD was out of print. Right? I mean, I can see people's points on the Warlock collection, considering the films are not out of print and they're readily available, like pretty much all of them, right? So
from what I'm reading,
and the fact that they're not that great.
I heard it's out of print again.
What is?
What, Warlock?
The Gate Festron's out of print.
What? It just came out.
I know, but I was reading that.
Wow.
Well, how is it still available?
No, it's not.
Oh.
What?
We'll see.
What did they do? Limited Lionsgate, pressing? Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Lionsgate has such a big vault, you know what I mean? That it's it's something that I want to see. I know they have, dude, they really need to do the Blair Witch next, honestly. I really think they need to do Blair Witch 1 and 2, or 1, 2, and 3 if they want to add the newer film in there too. Or even just part 2 with the alternate cut, and I don't know, man. There's so many other films that they have too that are more. But look at it this way: eventually they have to do that stuff because they're gonna run out of the 8-pack stuff and the basics. It wouldn't surprise me if they eventually do Leprechaun, because those films together usually sell. There's 1,000 editions of them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy with the label that the price is coming down a little bit, and from what I understand, it seems like they're just printing more in general, because screener wise, it was impossible to get one early on, and now it's way more easy. I just emailed dude and I was like, yo, you got any more of them? And he's
probably not selling as good as they thought they were, so maybe getting them out there a little bit more is probably maybe going to help them. I don't know.
I think they're selling better than you would. I see a lot of people with them, honestly.
So I'm curious to see how many people are actually going to pick up this Warlock collection, because I mean, it seems the consensus is in the communities that a lot of people aren't interested in picking this up.
Yeah, I can't see the Warlock collection doing fantastic, honestly. Really, I think the Wishmaster one did good.
I think the biggest thing for the Warlock films for us is that it spawned the Hall of Pain. So that's what I take away from the Warlock trilogy. I mean, I will admit the first one's pretty fun, but after that it gets pretty whatever for myself. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to pick this one up. Probably gonna end up paying way too much money for it, but I don't know.
I say pre-order if you're trying to collect the line, dude. To the listeners out there, I would highly suggest pre-ordering because.
Well, the thing is, with this Vestron line, I was like, okay, they started off pretty good. There was a couple announcements. I was like, whatever, Blood Diner and stuff. I'm like, do I really need a Blu-ray of Blood Diner? I'm like, I don't think so.
Yes, you do, because the commentary is hilarious.
I actually have to check that out still. But, I was kind of expecting Lionsgate to, I mean, through the first 11 releases, I was expecting a couple really big surprises, like dig into that vault, grab,
There's nothing surprising so far. And
exactly,
I mean, maybe the Wishmaster was the most surprising because it's like didn't have anything to do with those multi-packs. Yeah. And it is one of their like popular titles. It honestly is. It's one of their more popular titles that people requested all the time. Now, I will say that I think their best release, minus because I haven't watched The Gate, but I think their best release is Return of the Living Dead 3 so far.
Yeah, that might even be my favorite one too, actually, because we got the uncut version of it, which is
which is huge. And something that we didn't mention in the news, but it looks like Sony might be jumping on this collector's edition bandwagon because they're releasing 976 Evil, which leads me to think that maybe the next title will be 976 Evil 2 because didn't they release Chud 2 around the time that the Arrow released Chud?
Yeah, it was probably around yeah.
So I'm thinking that we might get it because Sony owns 976 Evil.
Do they own part 2?
Lionsgate owns 976 Evil 2.
Oh, Lionsgate. Okay. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Okay.
And it was also a title that was in that 8-pack, so chances are we can maybe see that one. But I will say that I'm really excited for that 976 Evil from Sony because they actually are releasing it with an alternate video version, which I guess has more gore.
That's right. Yeah.
That's cool. That's what we want to see, is it not?
Well, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. I wasn't like, fucking jumping up to the clouds when they announced that, but I was more excited for the fact that Sony is finally coming out of their shitty closet and jumping into this niche market because they've got a lot of films in the vault too that could use good releases.
I actually don't know. Sony's like really bizarre to me because I actually don't know.
I don't know me neither.
Like I know they have Christine and Fright Night. They also have Brain Scan.
I looked it up a while ago. I think they have a few other ones that are pretty cool.
The Craft.
I think they have The Craft. They definitely have some stuff, but it's not.
Well, listing off all those titles doesn't get me too excited. There's no boner there at all. but no, I'm pretty sure. Like I looked into Sony.
What's wrong with Fright Night and Christine?
I mean, that's cool.
I mean, they're already out, I guess. But yeah. But no, I think that the most telling thing, and I would suggest everybody pre-order this and actually support it because it will only mean that we'll get more titles if it does well. 100%. It ain't like they're gonna randomly release 976 Evil and just be out. You know what I mean? The cover has like that retro style look to it, with the scratches and stuff. So they're obviously testing the waters here. So now, should they have chose 976 Evil? I don't know. Probably not. But it is Robert Englund's only directorial film, I believe.
It seemed like there was a lot of hate on that as soon as it got announced. Like, I'm not excited for 976 Evil, but
I actually like that film.
I like it too, but I'm excited to see the other cut of the film. If it's got more gore and stuff, I mean, it can only make it better, I assume. So that's pretty cool. I mean, at least it's not a standard edition of it, right? At least we're getting something more for that. But I think the biggest selling point here is probably the price point. I didn't even see what it was going to be going for. Did they give a price point for it?
I think 15.
What, really?
Okay,
that's
perfect. If they're asking 15 bones, that's going to sell like hog. I mean, really. I mean, every other niche company out there, you're paying 20 or more, right? So if you're going to undermine that, I mean, that's a pretty damn good deal for 2 cuts of a film. So I like what they're doing already. I'm going to
pre-order mine just in case I don't get a press copy.
Well, let's put it this way. When Vestron first came out and they announced Chopping Mall and Blood Diner, Waxwork and stuff, they were like fucking, $35 to $40 pre-order. You know, I mean,
they eventually dropped down to like 25, but
maybe Sony saw that and they're like, well, let's just start off real low. Let's see how this does. But I think having the price lower is just going to make you sell more. So, but
I think so too.
After that, we've got The Glass Coffin. This one is being released from Synergetic Distribution. Man, I gotta say, man, listen to this synopsis, quick little synopsis. Amanda steps into a limousine waiting to take her to a gala ceremony where will receive a lifetime award for her acting career. Suddenly the doors lock and Amanda's phone is jammed. A strange voice tells her that she's trapped and begins to force her to do things that slowly eat her away her respect and integrity. Amanda's smart, but will she escape the diabolical endgame? Oh my god, what the fuck is this, Saw? In a limousine? It's crazy. I don't know.
That could be cool, Saw in a limousine.
But it's a contained horror film in a limo. Kind of an interesting premise, I guess, but I just thought it was funny once I read it. But yeah, The Glass Coffin, never heard of it before. Oh man, it just, no DVD Blu-ray releases is complete without a Wild Eye releasing, and that is Lust of the Vampire Girls. Man, the cover art on this is so bad. And then to make things worse, I looked at the rating on this one, and it is PG-13.
Oh,
really? PG-13? What the fuck?
What kind of cover is that for PG-13? That's pretty hardcore for a PG-13 movie.
But PG-13, that's just fucking bizarre, man. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. But from Monarch Home Video, we've got Nocturne. It looks really, really bad. Don't even really want to talk about that one too much. And that is going to conclude the DVD and Blu-ray releases for July.
Love for Pretty Little Liars.
Is Pretty Little Liars coming out? Yeah, I didn't even click on the other part. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for the releases. I guess it's an all right week, though. There's some good stuff coming out. I mean, enough to break someone's wallet, I guess, break their bank. Getting into the release of the week. I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty sure where JP would go with this one. So I'm going to go opposite. If you had to pick one release from this week, and I will admit there's 3 or 4 on here that, I think are probably going to be ones that people are looking at and stuff. But I'm going to have to say Beyond the Darkness from Severin. That is one that you definitely got to pick up. I mean, Severin does such amazing work with the releases. Plus, it's a great film, too. So, kind of put 2 and 2 together there. But Beyond the Darkness, first time on Blu-ray in Region 1. It has been recently released on Blu-ray by 88 Films in Region 2. So, and I know a lot of people picked that up. But Beyond the Darkness from Joe D'Amato. Check it out.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Cool. Got to go with that one. What would you have gone with the Stendhal Syndrome on that?
Yeah, I would have.
Would you really? Okay.
I had to think about it because I was thinking I really like the Warlock 1 and 2 as well, but yeah, probably with Stendhal because as like a standalone movie, it's better than all 3 Warlocks combined. So yeah, probably that.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna argue with you on that one. So,
it's my only problem with that is it could be a double dip for people because a lot of people own that original Blu-ray, including myself. So
yeah. Well, that's why I kind of went with, Beyond the Darkness, man. I mean, it has a Shriek Show DVD and stuff, but the upgrade, is probably going to be worth the upgrade for sure. DVD's pretty muddy, like most of the old Shriek Show stuff, but yeah, that's going to conclude the DVD and Blu-ray releases for July 25th. And moving along in Moodz Swingz here into the newly segment of Box Office Brawl. I don't really know what to call this thing, man. It's a strange one to me, but Box Office Brawl, created by the fucking CEO of every fucking shit town.
town.
Jeremy. So, Jeremy, you want to fill us in on those, the results, I guess, of last week's box office brawl?
Well, there is a little stipulation on this. At the time of recording this, Sunday night still hasn't happened, but according to Jeremy, like his projections that he sees online are fact. So
it is fact. What the numbers came out this morning, those are fact. The studios are
But what about Sunday night? It hasn't happened yet.
Well, I'm just fucking telling you what I'm going by, bro.
I'm just saying that you can't predict something that hasn't happened.
Well, these are the numbers that came out, and these are what I'm gonna fucking go by. Vanity Fair says these are the numbers, and those are the fucking numbers.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
It's not official.
Well, okay, if you want to wait until tomorrow, you're still gonna fucking lose on that. If you're gonna think,
I'm saying that
it's gonna make $6.5 million today. It's gonna make its whole fucking budget. I mean, its whole fucking gross from yesterday and Saturday today.
But do you understand what I'm saying though?
Yeah, but I'm just going at the time of recording. These are the numbers.
Yeah, but why I'm saying that is like it, chances
it's not close enough to any of our guesses that it's going to affect it either way.
Yeah, you're well. I mean, not really. If Planet of the Apes makes like an extra 10 added to the projection, you know what I mean?
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. But I'm saying, well, it wouldn't even need to be an extra 10. It could be 6, and it would be different.
You would still be 1 million away, and I would be 14 million away.
But me and Moodz.
Moodz said 75 too, though.
He said 70.
5.
70.
5. He said I agree with Jeremy. Okay, all right.
What did you have? 75. Oh, you had 70. What did you have?
Me? I thought I had 75.
Okay, then Moodz had 70. You didn't have the same. Do you remember, Moodz?
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't think I had the exact same. It was close, though.
All right, anyway, let's get into this. So what this is, you guys missed 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago. Basically, we're predicting the box office. We changed the rules slightly. Basically, the first 1 to 20 points will get $20 from whoever they versed.
Mm-hmm.
And the films that we predicted for were, Jeremy?
War for the Planet of the Apes and Wish Upon. So let's do War of the Planet of the Apes first, since that is the big movie of the week. So I thought this movie was going to overproject. JP was a little bit more modest than me and Moodz. So
I was pretty thoughtful with my
so
with Spider-Man coming out last week, and just the idea that this is the third film in the new launch trilogy. I thought that it was going to be a lot lower than the previous Planet of the Apes film.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so what is it?
It came in at 56.5 million
projected.
Okay, JP.
You gotta be official about it, dude. You can't say that this is officially what happened when it didn't yet.
You want to wake up tomorrow and I bet you it says 56.5 million?
Okay.
How much you want to fucking bet? I bet you. Anyway, War for the Planet of the Apes made 56.5 million. I once again bet.
Jeremy's one of those guys that just listen to anything people tell him. You know what I mean?
Fuck you, JP. How much you want to fucking bet? We wake up tomorrow and it's the same fucking number.
What is your logic behind that?
I don't fucking
know. Because experts told you that's what's happening?
That's the way it is from fucking looking at the numbers. I look at box office for fucking years.
Moodz, do you understand what I'm saying here?
Whatever comes out on Sunday morning is usually the number. It's always the number. It's always the number that you'll see on Monday morning. I don't know how they fucking predicted that. That's just the way that they fucking...
Sunday does count as a night, right? Sunday counts as a night. Or does it not? Or is it only Thursday, Friday, and Saturday?
So shouldn't the official numbers come out Monday then?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
The 14th through the 16th.
Oh, so Sunday doesn't count then?
The 14th through the 16th. Well, that means
so the Sunday does count. Just answer the question. Sunday counts?
Yes.
All right, so then you understand what I'm saying, Moodz? Jeremy's going off of what is projected. That is not official because Sunday has not happened.
It is official. It's official.
It's an official projection.
No, it's an official. That's what it's gonna fucking make.
So
you want me to fight?
So this list is an official.
But Jeremy, how do you know that?
Because today, Planet of the Apes made 15,175,000. Official.
So far, but today is not over. Do you understand what I'm saying? What about the people that walk in tonight and just go there? You know what I mean? Yeah, chances are that it's not going to be much different, but it is possible that fucking everybody and their mother goes to the movies tonight.
Oh, that's.
I'm just saying.
For the list on this website, do they have a cutoff time? Like Eastern time is like, say, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then whatever the numbers are at that time is the official numbers.
Sunday morning. Usually Sunday morning.
Okay, so if there is an official cutoff time, then technically the numbers shouldn't.
He just said.
Oh, there actually isn't one?
No, it's whatever it made the day. I mean, what's the latest showing on Sunday? Like 11?
But
11 o'clock, so...
It's kind of like the dollar, right? You know, the dollar ends at like, 12 o'clock or something like that. That's the official number for when they end it, kind of thing. And so there is no official cutoff time on this, Jeremy?
It's Sunday. All Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday
but
morning.
I'm just saying they could do their numbers by like 5 o'clock Eastern time. Whatever the numbers are, 5 o'clock.
But it's still going to be what it's saying now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's what the numbers are based on their cutoff time. So then it would make it official.
From the way that I'm understanding it is these are projected numbers. Like it's projected to do this amount based on the amount that it did Friday and Saturday. So Sunday night should get this amount. And then once it's all totaled up, then the official what it actually made comes out on Mondays. That's how I've always understood it, unless I am wrong.
I think you're wrong. I don't know. I guess I'll look into it tomorrow and report back next week.
Okay, for now, let's just play it off as this is the official numbers. We'll get back.
Okay. So War for the Planet of the Apes, like I said, made $56.5 million. So JP is closest to that. So
now, yesterday you told me it made $60 million.
No, I said 56.5.
Okay.
You win anyway.
Yeah, I win against you and Moodz.
Correct.
Yeah.
So right now I'm ahead of you 2-0 as right now we speak. Before we get into Wish Upon.
3-0.
3?
Didn't you guess 47 meters down?
Yes, I did.
And the Tupac flick?
Yes, I did. You're correct on that. So yeah, 3-0 right now. And 1-0 against Moodz.
Correct.
All right.
Now Wish Upon, yeah, it came in at about what I was thinking. I said 6 to 8 million. I think I said 8 million actually. And Wish Upon came in at 5,586,000. So that movie did really, really bad. That's not that good, to be completely honest. So JP, you guessed 11 million, and Moodz, I think you guessed 5 million.
Right on, just bang on, bam.
I think I guessed 6.
Yeah.
So I'm +1. So it's 1-3 against me and JP, and you are tied with JP at 1-1. Is that correct, JP?
Yes. So 1-1, and then 3-1. Yeah. So right now you're getting these stats from Box Office Mojo, right?
Correct.
All right. So the way that what I'm seeing right now, weekend estimates, which is War of the Planet of the Apes at 56 million, right? 500,000, which is what you said, but it does say estimate. That is not. So it like that's what I'm trying to figure out.
But it's not going to say 56,523,856.
I understand that, Jeremy. But what I'm saying is, if Sunday still counts as a full day and they didn't tally it into there yet, then does that mean that it could end up at 60 million?
No.
No?
No.
So Sunday just doesn't count as it's only Sunday morning that counts?
But they project what's going to be the whole day, and that's what they have into the total.
Okay, so it is a projection then, based on pre-ticket sales and things like that.
Sure.
So technically it can change, but chances are they're pretty good at nailing the number.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. That's what I was trying to figure out the whole time.
Okay.
All right. Did you have to make it so complicated, Jeremy?
It's fucking numbers. It's always going to be complicated.
All right.
It shouldn't be that fucking complicated. It should just be what it made, and that's it.
All right.
You know?
So that came in pretty even. So what are the films for this week?
So this week
there's really nothing.
We have one. We have Atomic Blonde, which is Charlize Theron's new. It looks like John Wick, a stylized John Wick.
It's a female John Wick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I thought it looked shitty.
Yeah. But I think by films like Lucy with fucking Scarlett Johansson, that movie did really, really, really well, actually. So I think and that was rated R too, so I think there's a market for R-rated action female films, but I don't know how this one's going to do. It's kind of...
Do we have a projected cinema count here? How many theaters is playing in?
Not yet, because it's still, at this point, 2 weeks out, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be 3,000 plus.
Okay.
So it's going to be pretty big.
3,000, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
3,000 is a shit ton.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes only had 4. You know what I mean? And that's
about.
I think 2,500 would probably be a decent number for a big budget A-list actor film like that. I mean, 3,000, kind of pushing it. But predictions?
I'm gonna stay out of this one. If you and Jeremy want to go at each other.
I don't know. James McAvoy's in it.
You know, it's a really big
and
toss-up.
John Goodman.
Yeah,
and Charlize Theron.
This is a
Anna
tough
has
one.
lesbian. Anna has chicks making out in the trailer. So I'm just trying to base off of all the things.
But it also
And
is
Lucy.
rated R though too, right?
And it's rated R, but Lucy was rated R too, and that movie made it a fucking $140 million, which is.
But you got to remember, it's also Scarlett
good.
Johansson at the top of her game at the time.
But Charlize Theron isn't popular though.
She is, but I think.
I mean, she was in the fucking Fate and the Furious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does interesting movies these days.
And she was in fucking Mad Max.
I know, it's so strange.
You know.
What's the budget on the film?
I can tell you in a second.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. I mean, the way
30 million.
The way I see it is it's kind of a ripoff of John Wick.
It's based off a graphic novel, I think.
Okay, so it's very, very kind of similar. Say if it's playing in 2,500 theaters. Oh, man. Opening weekend, what is it going to make? I know it's really hard to predict, actually.
Because it's going up against the Emoji Movie, which is... And then the week before, it's going to go up against Dunkirk, which is fucking Nolan's new movie. So, but that's a different audience, I think. I don't know.
So our prediction is for the 2 weeks. What it's going to make.
Just from July 28th to July 30th.
It's the one weekend.
Weekend.
We're always doing weekends. So are you guys going to go for this or what?
I'm going to say it's probably going to come in at... I'm thinking it's going to come in pretty low to be... Well, I mean, for a pretty big action film. Say if it's playing in 2,500 theaters, I say it's going to come in about 21 million.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say 22.
So you guys going to...
Yeah, I'm going to stick with 21 million. It's a toss up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play this two ways, Jeremy. You can undercut Moodz, and anything under 20 million, you would go, or if you can go 22 and anything over, you would win.
It's like The Price is Right did the dollar thing to me. $1.
No, because that's the closest.
So if the film makes $22 million plus, I'd win. If it makes anything less than 22 million, Moodz wins.
Yeah.
Well, if you picked above him, if you picked
I
below
think it's gonna
him,
be. Well, I'm gonna pick 22 million.
And Moodz said what, 21?
Yeah.
All right. So, for what is this film called?
Atomic Blonde.
All right. So
All right.
what do you guys bet in it? One plus
Yeah,
one.
one.
One bet.
And I think we should do Dark Tower in case we're not recording, just in case.
You didn't give me time to prepare on this one.
Okay, so the Dark Tower is being released. What, Jeremy? August 4th. And do we have a budget? I don't even think we have a budget on this one.
60 million.
All right, 60 million, which is pretty high budget. Is it going up against anything really? Detroit, which is
I want to see that really bad. That movie looks really good. But that's a different audience, I think, Detroit and Dark Tower. I think the Atomic Blonde goes better against Dark Tower than Detroit. I don't know what Kidnap is.
Okay, so those are your three big movies. And then the week before, nothing super big, so it's not going to hurt it too much there. And do we have theater listings?
This is gonna be big, 3,000 plus for sure.
Okay, it's a Stephen King adaptation. It has a huge fandom because there's so many books. Is there any stars in this film?
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay,
and it's already got greenlit for a TV series, and they're supposed to all return for the TV series. So that is what I'm hearing.
Any predictions on this? Do you want me to go first?
Sure. I don't even fucking know.
I'm gonna say 38 million on this one. 38 million. Any takers?
38 million on the Dark Tower. Ron Howard produced it. That's McConaughey. 38 million. 60 million.
I'll take it, man. I think it's actually gonna do better, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
What are you gonna?
I don't know how many people.
I was thinking in the low 40s. I think it's going to break the 40 million.
That's too high.
I'm going to say.
What do you say, Jeremy?
I'm going to say 42. I think it's going to do. I think it's going to do quite well. To be honest, I mean, there's buzz, man.
Is there buzz? I haven't heard anybody fucking talking about it.
I've heard people talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long time coming to do something like this.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about movies like Ghost in the Shell, which fucking bombed.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I think the best part of it is that it's kind of has a wide open week there. Spider-Man will be dying down. I don't think Atomic Blonde's going to do too big, as well as War of the Planet of the Apes will be long. You know, that's like a month later. So I think it can do good. Jeremy, are you taking a bet against anybody?
You said what?
I said 38. I'm betting Moodz.
I'll go 32. I'll take both of you on.
32. Okay. So when it does really, really good and blows everyone's mind, baby. Yeah. It's an interesting week. It's not really going up against too much, so.
All right, that's very interesting. So me and Jeremy for the Dark Tower, me and Moodz for the Dark Tower, and Moodz and Jeremy for Atomic Blonde. And that is Box Office Brawl.
Box Office Brawl. All right, so do we have any voicemails or emails this week? Because We didn't actually discuss this before.
I still have not got that voicemail checked out. The issue. We might have a email. Let me check the emails real quick. I put them in their own folder now. But yeah, somebody remind me to work on that going forward here, because that's something that I've been saying that I was going to fix for a while.
So if anybody out there has left a voicemail recently, let us know. Somehow. Leave a comment on the video. Yeah. Leave a comment anywhere. Facebook, whatever. Contact one of us. And we do apologize that it's not fixed yet.
Here's an email that we got in May. So this one's pretty old. I don't know if I got to this one yet, but it's he says, no, you know what? I think we did get to that one. Pretty sure we did. So there's another one though. So this one is from June 9th, and it's from Liz Schmidt. And she says, first, just have to say I love your podcast. All three of you are hilarious and bring something different to the table. Helps me get through the days. I have paperwork fest at the hospital. First, Moodz, you are like my long lost brother. We are truly children of the awesome 80s decade. Second, JP, you have a great relaxing chill vibe and make me rethink certain movies and give them another chance. Third, but not least, Jeremy, you're just hilarious and adorable. I could adopt you.
Well, you should be in the Hall of Fuckers because you fucking had me last, so fuck you.
Gets a compliment and still fucking tells him to fuck off.
Anyways, was curious if any of you are near enough to know about horror conventions in Chicago this August, where a ton of Elm Street alum are going to be there, from Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp to practically most of the Dream Warriors cast. Any chance of a podcast dedicated to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise in the future? Keep doing what you do. Love you guys, Liz. So thank you for your kind words. Second, yeah, there definitely are plans to eventually do an Elm Street franchise, but it will not be this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, we got too many franchises coming up this year, so
yeah,
not enough time.
One of the things that I suggested when we first started podcasting, when we created this thing, was that so many shows do their franchise shows early on. And I wanted to refrain from doing that, because we're at our worst early on. You know, we're only going to get better as time goes on. And second, it always leaves something for the people to look forward to. So the first big one we did was Halloween. We obviously did Leprechaun, Phantasm, Candyman, and Silent Night, Deadly Night before that, but I don't consider those A-lists. There's only about 5 or 6 A-list franchises. You got Psycho, you got Halloween, you got Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Chainsaw, Child's Play maybe, and the rest are kind of second tier and third tier, and all the way down to
it all depends on who you ask. I think Phantasm is one of my favorites, but
it's literally in my top 3 favorite, but it's probably my second favorite, maybe. Man, it's kind of dropped since Ravager came out, but I'm saying in terms of popularity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that we made the right call, because I even listened back to the Halloween show, and it is a little dated. Like, we're definitely not at the top of our game, even though I think we did a fairly decent job. And I wanted to save the bigger ones for when the time was right. And typically that is when a new film comes out, like Chainsaw or Child's Play. Maybe we will get to Elm Street next year before another one comes out, because it doesn't seem like it's anywhere on the horizon at this point. And honestly, I'm dying to cover those films. I have a lot of things to say about a lot of them. And I'm a huge Elm Street fan. I know Moodz is too. And honestly, I'm just curious to see what Jeremy thinks of them.
Oh, it's my favorite franchise. I think part 2 will be an interesting discussion. Yeah, that'll be an interesting discussion. For sure. Yeah. I actually recently watched it again, and I don't know, I just had this weird, I usually don't do things like that, just like pop in a sequel, without watching the first one, but I oddly enough did it and had some pretty interesting thoughts and discussions with myself.
Lately, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty
I've been
strange.
doing that a ton, like just popping in a random sequel. And I never used to do that, ever. But I did it with Friday the 13th this year. I watched part 7 and 5. I watched Leprechaun in the Hood this year for St. Patrick's Day. I usually go with 1, 2, or 3, but I decided to go into the Hood.
Yeah.
That's so random.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been popping in like random ass Hellraisers. Like I watched Hellraiser 4 just randomly for 96. So it's been happening.
Yeah, it's been happening. I mean, I watch obviously Friday 6, Psycho 3. Fuck, I don't know, Ravager 5. Like it's just or Ravager 5, Phantasm. It's fucking strange to do that though. I always feel awkward popping it in. I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. OCD kicks in. It's like, oh. But that's it. That's all we got for voicemails and emails. Oh yeah, I guess we have
one other email.
We do.
This is from Adam Claver from June 16th. And he said, I couldn't find any legends from this is on the Urban Legends show, find any legends from my immediate vicinity, but I found a couple from nearby. The Devil's Chair in Guthrie, Iowa, is a cement cast chair that sits between 2 unmarked graves. Legend has it that bad luck, even death, comes to those foolish enough to sit in it. The Devil's Chair, sit in it, ... the Devil's Chair. Sounds a lot like the Cursed Bubsy chair. I don't know what that is. Next up, we have Stony Hollow Cliff in Burlington, Iowa. This legend states that a young woman named Lucinda jumped to her death from said cliff, and allegedly those impetus enough to visit Stony Hollow and say her name 3 times will be greeted by Lucinda herself. And if she drops a rose at your feet, you will die the next day. Hope you don't mind me not phoning in, but I can't stand the sound of my own voice. Have a good show, guys. So that one was intended for
phoning
the
in.
Show.
Awesome.
So thank you, Adam. Interesting legends. I asked people to share their legends, so we had one person do it.
Well,
one
is better than nothing.
There were more on Facebook, but one person.
Yeah, fuck everybody.
Sweet. Right. So that is going to conclude, the non-voicemails and emails. I don't believe we have a knowledge segment this week.
Yes, we actually do have a knowledge segment this week.
We do.
Yeah, so I didn't forewarn you guys because I knew you guys checked it out. But there was actually an article written, and I'm going to credit these guys, but I don't have it up right now. I have to find it. But you guys should know what I'm talking about here. This is the Charlie Band Tourist Trap article that came out. You guys both read this, right?
Yeah.
Correcto.
All right, and basically what had happened was, you guys,
what?
With the Blu-ray release of
I told
Tourist.
You I was trying to look for this.
The Blu-ray release of Tourist Trap. Yeah, I mean
It's your fucking segment. Don't fucking put it on me, you fucking bitch.
This is something that came out, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something like that. We all know, as collectors and fans, that Full Moon put out a version of Tourist Trap on Blu-ray that was actually a cut version of the film. It was missing about 5 minutes of footage. So it became a huge thing within the collectors, and everyone's like, fuck the Blu-ray, stick with your older DVD kind of thing. And basically the article kind of explained, it's got, I think, responses from Charlie Band and stuff, and he's claiming that he had no idea when they were restoring the film for Blu-ray that it was a cut version and stuff like that. And it kind of goes into, that kind of discrediting Charlie Band in a sense and saying that he's a little bit of a liar. Because he claims that they used the original negative, the one that they had stored and stuff like that, but it couldn't have been possible. He said, we used the same negative to do the Blu-ray that we did with the DVD. I have no idea why it would be cut now and stuff like that. So the article kind of goes into disproving the fact a little bit, that he's kind of a liar because he obviously didn't use that original negative because there would be no reason to cut the film within the time that they did the DVD to the Blu-ray. So it doesn't make sense. So he had to have used a different print. So to save money, who knows? It's all speculation on it and stuff, but you can go into it, JP.
Yeah. So basically, one thing that I do want to state, and I didn't actually know this until now. This is an old article. This is from 2014.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, so I thought this was a new article.
Yeah.
So this is years old at this point. But anyway, it resurfaced, and it got a lot of shares. So it's weird how that happens sometimes, but it's something that we knew about and we talked about a little bit. So basically, I do remember on this podcast stating that the original Full Moon Puppet Master box set, when I bought it, I talked about this on the podcast, I'm almost certain, that when I bought it, it was during a Valentine's Day sale, and it was, out of print. And it was turns out we have some more of these that were found in a warehouse, which is the article goes to point out that he says that a lot, and he really does. He really does say, like, we found it in a warehouse.
We found some wizard big boxes,
This warehouse is like this infinite. It's like how Honey We Shrunk the Kids, where they put the at the end of the movie where they put it in that giant warehouse, the shrinker or whatever. I think that's the movie.
Good one, JP.
But so I remember buying this box set, and then like I spent $50 on it, which is better than the people who spent like $200 on it. And this was I remember this being a hot commodity back in the day. Like it was like out of print on Amazon, and it was like blah blah blah, like it's so hard to get. And they had some on the Full Moon sale, and it was $50. I was like, this is a deal. Now you can get them in any Walmart dump bin for like $2.99 or something. 74 bin.
Well, do you remember the reason why it was supposedly out of print, kind of thing? Because
they say it in the article. Yeah. Charles Band did not own all of the Puppet Master films,
so he theoretically kind of pulled it, per se. Because he only had the rights to like the first 4 or something like that, and this one had.
It was the later ones, like 4
of the later ones. Or okay, yeah.
I think like 1 and 2 wasn't owned by him, but he's done this before too with Demonic Toys. He does not or did not own the rights to Demonic Toys. He still probably doesn't, honestly. And he released the Full Moon carries the import edition, which was released in Mexico, and they import it to Full Moon and sell it. That is some bullshit. I'm 1,000% sure that they print that up themselves, and they just put Spanish titling on it, and they don't import it.
100% that's what they do.
Yeah. So, but he's done this before too, where he's put films that he doesn't like own in a box set, and then like says like, I guess their excuse is like, well, we printed up a bunch of them, so like we won't print any more, but we'll just sell the ones we have, and like somehow that's like a legal loophole or something. So basically that was the story with the box set, was that Paramount actually owns.
Breaking news. Now Martin Landau has just died. What the fuck? Why is everybody dying today?
Who is that?
Martin Landau? Oh my god, that's crazy,
dude. You don't know who Martin Landau is, dude?
Yeah, that's fucked up. He's old too, so I mean, good life again. But
fuck, is everyone dying today?
So, that's rest in peace to Landau.
Ed Wood, man, come on.
So anyway, so the thing is, like, I guess that it's some sort of legal loophole where if you just sell the rest of your stock and agree not to print anymore, like you're probably allowed to do that or something.
I don't think so, man, because it's technically just a fancy way of bootlegging. If you don't own something, you can't fucking sell it, hence being a bootlegger.
No, I'm saying maybe there was like an agreement or something, like who knows how it went. It's probably still illegal, but at least
I think it's straight
I'm
up
sure
illegal.
There's some kind of loophole there, honestly.
Or maybe nobody gives a fuck about Charles Band and Full Moon, so it is like whatever.
Because Paramount owned the original Puppet Master. I believe Charles Band now owns them.
He does. I think he retained the rights to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the thing with Tourist Trap was it came out, and I can't believe we missed this because we was doing the podcast back when this article came out. And I do remember talking about Tourist Trap and like that, and then the whole Wizard video thing when that happened, we definitely covered that. Mm-hmm. Where allegedly he found a bunch of slip boxes for the old Wizard video big box things, and there was a video that a guy did. Yeah, that was really well done. That discredited that, but that guy also did a video that said that like Diabolic and Grindhouse were like working together with the slips for, or the puzzles for pieces.
Yeah, and that's fucking.
That's the same guy though.
Paul from VHS something. Yeah,
Advocate or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, that guy made this video, like kind of saying like 100% these Full Moon Wizard video things are fake, because they were selling for a huge amount too. You know, they
wanted like $40-$50 for them.
I think his most popular point, like most concrete point, was the fact that it was only the popular titles, the most popular ones, like I Spit on Your Grave and stuff. It does seem a little
and fishy,
Zombie, right? Yeah. Which, come on, those are two of the most iconic covers ever.
Yeah.
But so the Tourist Trap thing is interesting because the director came out and he said that, you know, he worked on the special features and things like that. He didn't realize that there was missing footage when he did the commentary, probably because he hadn't seen the film in so many years, but that the missing footage, he believes that Charles Band probably didn't pay some sort of like inventory fee, or like, you know how you get the storage containers, like that they have on like Storage Wars and stuff. Maybe that they kept some of their stuff in there. And
it was purely speculation, but I wouldn't put it past cheap ass Charlie Band not to pay his bills.
It's not purely speculation because this guy does have a little bit more inside stuff.
I get that too, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. And basically what they did is they had his shit locked up and he couldn't get to it. So Charlie Band took an alternate route and found a different print, which he was claiming to be the original negatives.
Which it would not be because there's only, I guess, one original negative is how they were. I don't really know what a positive and
they kind of figured that maybe he went out and grabbed like, you know, an alternate cut, maybe a TV cut of it or something like that, and use that one
and upscaled a print, not like the original negative or whatever, but like I guess if you take a print and make it into an HD thing, it's just like an upscale conversion type thing, and not like an actual. I don't know how all this stuff works, but I'm pretty sure that it's like a cheap way to make a Blu-ray edition of something, and that's kind of what they were saying happened, because and it does make sense because there's no reason in hell they would randomly cut 5 minutes out of the original negative. Well, it just doesn't make sense.
There'd be no point.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense that they didn't actually make this Blu-ray from the original negative. They used other means. That is interesting. But also the director, what is his name? Schoemaker? He's the guy that directed Puppet Master.
Yeah. Which his name is completely off the films.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he was saying that
I've met him before.
A lot of his films have had his name taken off him. A lot of ones he made for Full Moon.
Well, he left. I mean, he had a problem with Charlie Band, of course, with a lot of people have too, for not being paid properly. Like he was owed a lot of residuals and a lot of money for the films that he'd made under Full Moon and all those companies, and Empire and stuff, all the companies that he worked for, and essentially Charlie Band never paid him, so they had this huge falling out. I think they even went to court or something, like I can't remember the whole story. So when he got the films back, when Charlie Band got the rights back to these films, he released the films and it says Charlie Band presents Puppet Master, and Paul's name's completely off there. So it looks like Charlie Band kind of did the film. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So
a lot of people do, a lot of people who are
totally
not too familiar always credit him for Puppet Master.
Yeah.
which is their most popular film series and film. So it makes sense that it's like attached to him, but at the same time, like, that's insane to take the name off of the that's like, I love Charlie Band, and even I even in a weird way respect his tactics, because Full Moon probably would not exist today if it wasn't for some of those tactics, and that's just facts. But that's a new low, you know what I mean?
It really is. Yeah.
I still love Charlie Band. I gotta respect him for just the way
he's a fucking crook.
I know, but there's something about it, man, that I'm like, he's a hustler. You gotta respect a hustler, even if it is shady. Sometimes, you know. At least I do. I don't know. But yeah, man.
Does it say in the article? Did they take off Schmoller's name from Tourist Trap also? Did they take off David Schmoller's name off of Tourist Trap also? Because I know with the Puppet Master films they did.
I don't remember, but you guys should read that article. I mean, it's an old article, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting read. It just kind of makes you smile too. You're just like, oh my god, Charlie. Like, I mean, Charlie, it just all makes sense. You don't pay a bill. I'm gonna go find another version of this film to master. You know, just a real cheap TV cut or imported version. Fucking guy, it's hilarious. Andrew
Scheuer from the Woodsboro Brothers podcast actually sent me a text. I think it was him the other day or today, where he had actually asked Full Moon in a private message if they plan on releasing a Puppet Master box set on Blu-ray. And they said, yes, we're planning on releasing all 11 films in a limited edition trunk.
Oh, ooh, limited edition. So you mean that you're going to get it for free even though you don't deserve it, but it's not really limited?
So they're going to make an 11 film box set and then release a 12th one like the next day? Motherfuckers.
Well, maybe they meant the 12th one. I don't know. There's a remake happening right now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
What do you mean we'll see? They showed pictures and that shot. There's set photos.
Is it actually completed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might need edited and stuff, but yeah, it's like a bigger budget. Like, they showed the puppets and stuff like that, and yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, if Charlie Band got back the rights, might as well sell off the remake rights and make some more money so he can put out some really shitty Blu-ray versions of his back catalog.
I would totally want a Puppet Master box set. I'm just saying.
I would get that.
You get it for free. Of course you would want it. I would want it too.
It pisses me off. I have like the first 5, and I think I have 9 and 10 or something like that on Blu-ray too. So I guess let's get rid of all those shits and buy a box.
Jeremy, I own all these films already, so I don't even want to hear it.
I know. That's why you should have gotten that set.
Some of them I own 3 times. I know. But yeah, so that was my little knowledge segment. There's also a thing about post-horror, but I honestly don't even want to get into that. It's so ridiculous. So we'll just save that for another time.
All right, I guess that's what we'll do. We'll save that. Moving along here, Mood Swings, we're getting into the Morbid Fact. From the Corners Report of Weird Stats and Morbid Facts. This is coming from issue 177. This is the latest issue of Rue Morgue, the July and August edition. Rue Morgue has gone down to bi-monthly now. Used to be 11 issues a year. Now I think they're doing 6, so I'm obviously not selling as well, I guess. I don't know what's going on with this. But yeah, this one actually made me laugh out loud, so this is so stupid. Many of the credits in Birdemic, Shock and Terror, are fake. Director James Wynn added non-existing crew members to make the film look more professional. The fucking stupidest thing I've ever read. Birdemic to make it look more professional? Are you fucking kidding me?
Isn't there 2 of those movies?
Yeah, there is 2. Oh, have you ever seen the first Birdemic film?
No. But I can see it.
It is.
What was the joke? If make us watch Birdemic through the Patreon?
Exactly, right? That's like kind of. But yeah, no, it's so ridiculously bad. Oh fuck! To make it look more professional. Shit, that's funny.
Is it better than The Howling 7?
I would rate it higher because it has a little more entertainment value than Howling 7. Howling 7
I've
has
seen
nothing.
clips of that thing and it looks ridiculous.
Howling 7 is like an 80-minute country music video. It's ridiculous.
But at least Howling 7 looks like a film, kind of.
Kind of. It doesn't though. It I don't know. That film is that film was fucked. That's all we'll say about that. But that is going to conclude Moodz Swingz. And so getting into the WWW portion of the show, what we watched. What the fuck did we watch this week? Jeremy, you want to start us off?
I'll go first. Oh, never mind. Let him go first.
No, fuck you, JP. You go first.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine. Want to be a bitch about it? That's cool too.
All right, so I didn't get to watch a ton this week, but one film that I did watch early in the week is coming to us courtesy of Blue Underground, and it is titled Deathline, a.k.a. Raw Meat, which is what it was released as in the United States. It's a 1972 British horror film. I got the Blu-ray here, and this film follows, I guess, what you call Scotland Yard, which I believe is like the police in London, correct?
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah.
All right. And, this film also has Christopher Lee in it. But Scotland Yard is investigating some disappearances in a, I guess, underground, like, subway. I guess it'd be a subway.
Yeah.
And basically there is a family-ish of cannibals. They're living under the subway from the people who like built the subway, like they're descendants of that.
Yep.
And that's kind of your film. And honestly, like I had high hopes for this one, and Moodz even said that it was awesome. And I believe we even almost covered it before on an episode like called like Subterranean Horror or something, and we just never got around to it back when it was just me and Moodz doing the solo stuff or the duo stuff. And honestly, guys, like I didn't really love this movie. Like I thought there was a lot of cool moments, like the underground set with all the corpses and the cannibal family, super creepy. But every time it cut back to like Donald Pleasance and Scotland Yard,
he's
like,
just a weird character.
I was just not into it. I was just like, this is drab. Like it's like just boring and long-winded, and I just wasn't interested in anything that was going on outside of the cannibals. And there's not a ton with the cannibals, so I don't really know what else to say about it other than it has its moments. But for the most part, I found it pretty boring. I'm still going to give it a pass because it is still interesting. I'm going to come in at about a 6 out of 10 on this one.
Oh, that's exactly what the IMDb rating is. 6 out of 10.
I seen this at the marathon last Halloween.
It's been a while.
So did you watch the Blu-ray, Jeremy?
Yeah, I watched it.
What you said you liked it?
Yeah, this was probably up there with Serpent in the Rainbow as the best print that I've seen in my life. From what I understand, Gary Sherman, who is the director of this film, that was his own personal print. I think it's the only print still in existence. And he took fucking just amazing care of this movie, and it looks really, really nice. And he was really pissed off at MGM, what they did to his movie back in the day when they released it on DVD. I know they cut it and they did a whole bunch of different things, changed the title and all that. And it really pissed him off. And I would have to assume that was the print that was used for this Blu-ray. And from what I understand, from what I heard during the Q&A with him, is that he took the print and now he donated it to the BFA, which is the British Film Archive, and now it's going to live there for the rest of its life because I guess they've helped him throughout his career. So he donated the print. But it's a weird movie. I can see how it's not for everybody. And it's definitely one of Donald Pleasance's more weird movies, in my opinion. It's definitely a role that
I couldn't believe that I didn't like. Donald Pleasance always like captures my attention, no matter like what I see him in. I just felt this performance was really dry and boring, man.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
I think I love this setting. I think that's what because from what I understand, they really went down in the subways and they shot. on location.
An actual like
and
abandoned.
it was like cold and
Yeah.
rainy and shitty, and you could see that on film. But just thinking about having to get lights down there and electricity and all that kind of shit, I could see why the story of the film being made is more fascinating than the movie itself. But I still think it has some stuff going on that's interesting, and I had a good time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those.
it?
It's one of those location films for me. I love films set in, in just underground. Kind of that setting to a film is just fantastic to me. It's been a while since I've seen the film, and to be honest, I mean, I only own the DVD, which is a little bit hacked up and shit too. So I got to check this out again. But I do remember really enjoying it. I remember it not being the most exciting film in the world, but it's still intriguing to me. I mean, and I also do remember you were pretty bang on with not a whole lot of cannibalism type stuff, but I thought it was.
But what is there is awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
Like, that was really cool. It just. I don't know, man. I maybe, you know what also surprised me is I thought this was an 80s horror film, and I didn't really notice until about halfway through that it was a 70s film. And I feel like if you expect like 80s, you expect like more like extreme, like over like gore and things like that for this type. If this film was made in the 80s, it would be like a lot different. So maybe it was like I had a completely wrong mindset going in, which that shouldn't matter when you talk about a film and stuff. But yeah, so I don't know.
It's one of my more favorite Gary Sherman films. I mean, his next film that he did was Dead and Buried in '81, and I love that movie. That's like one of the most atmospheric, kind of oddball films too. But yeah, I got to pick up this Blu-ray, man. I gotta check it out again. So you give it a 6 out of 10? Is it?
Yeah, I actually own it on DVD too, which I never even watched that DVD. So
shit. Yeah, I'm excited to check it out again. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, 6 out of 10 is pretty low. Like, I probably could have went 6.5. I'll stick with 6 for now, but yeah.
Okay. 6 out of 10. Jeremy, you're up.
All right, so I'm going to be talking about a film from this year that did not do very well at the box office, and I can understand why. I'll get into that in a second. But it's a film titled A Cure for Wellness. Now, this is a movie that I've seen on a lot of people's lists this year as top 10 material, Jason Lloyd in particular. That's a very strange, weird movie, and I could understand in a few different points of why this movie failed to reach a mainstream audience. For one, the runtime. The runtime comes in at 146 minutes, so it's 2 hours and 26 minutes long, and that's just way too fucking long for a mainstream film like this, in my opinion. And number two, it's a mind trip fuck up a movie. It's a movie that I could see not too many audiences really connect with and understand what the hell is going on. Once again, I had problems even following what was going on throughout this one, and I can only imagine having a mainstream audience try to stay focused for 2.5 hours in a confusing film. It's on the level of Shutter Island, but it's way more complex and difficult to follow than that film, and that film is pretty complicated as it is. So basically, this movie, we follow Lockhart, and Lockhart is starting to become a big shot in a financial company, and he is sent to retrieve his boss, who goes to this castle / wellness center in the Swiss Alps. My amazing name pronunciation once again shows up. So he is sent to retrieve his boss because he has to sign a contract for this huge financial deal that has to go on. So he's sent, and when he arrives, he noticed something's going on at this wellness center. The doctor's acting weird. The patients are acting different. And there's something going on in the water, and I'm just going to leave it with that. And then we learn more about the backstory of this wellness center and things like that. It's a very symbolic movie. Reminds me of a movie like Altered States. Has a similar type of a feel to that movie, which is another one that's really complicated and complex movie. So The movie goes in an interesting direction. I kind of saw what was going on a little bit as the film played out. But overall, it's a movie that you're going to have to watch probably twice, which is kind of shitty because it's really long to fully understand what's going on, or read somebody who wrote about it who understands what's going on like I did, and then I started to piece stuff together. The Blu-ray, this is the best Blu-ray I've ever watched. I have to give the film that. It looks fucking amazing. You have a really good TV and you pop this one in, it's really, really going to make your jaw drop. It looks absolutely fucking phenomenal. I didn't think anything was going to beat The Swimmer from Grindhouse, but this one definitely fucking beats the cake. It looks amazing. It has a greenish tint type cinematography to it, but it really, really pops. And it's a lot of green Swiss Alps, very green type of scenery. So this is not a movie you should watch late at night, in my opinion. I think if you're tired, you're just going to be zoning out a lot of the time. But if you have an afternoon and you're able to sit down and focus and pay attention, then I think maybe you'll get something out of it. Is it going to be in my top 10? I'm not entirely sure yet. I didn't love it as much as some other people, so I'm going to come in with a 7 out of 10 on this one.
7 out of 10. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. JP, have you seen that one?
I have not. I have not seen that one. It's one that I'm a little iffy on because I've heard like such high praise, but at the same time, a lot of the people who I tend to agree with, I see come in around where Jeremy came in. So it's not on. Is it a long movie? I'm sorry if you said that in your review.
I said it like 4 times.
It's like
I thought so. Yeah, that's one of. This is a cure for wellness, right? Yeah. Okay, never mind. I thought you was talking about the one with the zombie one or whatever. My bad, dude. I totally zoned out. Yeah, Cure for Wellness. That one is one that I'll probably wait till like very late in the year to watch. I'm not like that. The running time scares the shit out of me, dude. I hate long movies these days. It's partially because I have so much to watch and so much to prep for and stuff like that a long movie just does not interest me unless it's like
and being like
gangbuster.
It's pretty psychological too, right? Confusing. Yeah, a long ass film like that can be very tedious to watch. Man.
It's a complicated, very complicated movie, and you can miss a lot if you're not paying attention. It could be challenging. It's challenging, and I could see why the movie only made $7 million. But
it's probably the runtime.
Yeah, and it's just a hard movie. So who knows? My best friend liked it. So
your mom liked it?
No, my best friend Coolduder liked it.
Oh, dude, that was brutal. Oh, man.
Slip that one in, man. Sorry. Just fucking cold. Jeremy doesn't even respond. He's floored.
That's okay. My mom is my best friend. I don't give a shit. Fuck you guys.
Oh, dude.
No, he didn't.
I love my mommy.
Remember when you and Moodz were driving across this country and you was like, I met him on the internet?
Yeah, it's true.
To the cop.
I did meet him on
I still
the
love
internet.
that shit.
Oh, if you had to see the look on my face when he said that, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. I'm going to
jail.
fucking jail.
Because Jeremy looks super young,
we were like,
especially back then.
Oh, shit, dude.
Classic moment on 22 Shots. If you have never checked it out, check out the best stubs that Luis did. Oh, man, they're great.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. All right, so first up here, what I watched this week is a film from the year of 1976. That is right, 1976. And it's a film called The People Who Own the Dark, released by Code Red. You can find this film. It's readily available, still not out of print and whatnot. But getting into a brief synopsis of this film, basically it is about a bunch of kind of higher class rich people that throw a party in this huge castle owned by this big mogul type dude. And so they're in there having their party and doing their stuff, shooting clay pigeons and shit like that, what rich people do, I guess. And what happens outside in the world is there's kind of like a nuclear disaster that happens. The people inside the castle are not affected by it, but the people outside, down in the village and stuff and all around are ravaged, and they are affected heavily by this nuclear war that's going on. So as time passed, a couple days pass, they realize that their supplies in this castle are starting to run out. So of course the only thing to do is to go down into the village and get some supplies so they can go back up to the castle and try to survive and stuff. So they make their way down, and of course they realize that there's, you know, these people are acting completely strange. The odd thing about them is that they're blind, and they're affected by this nuclear disaster. They're almost infected by the radiation and stuff, and it's turned them into like crazy maniacs and shit. So they start getting attacked. They make their way back up to the castle, and then it proceeds from there. If that sounds a little bit familiar, it's because this film, this Spanish film, is basically a Spanish version of Night of the Living Dead. Rest in peace to George Romero. This is their take on Night of the Living Dead. It's exactly the same thing. So we know in Night of the Living Dead, we have people that are trapped in a house. They're forced to survive together with the outside world being, you know, it's devastated, right? So that's essentially what this film is. With all the characters, there's not really a lot of character development within all the characters. So it's one of those type of films where when people start dying off, you're just like, I really don't give a shit a whole lot and stuff. But I will say there's some pretty cool scenes and pretty gory scenes in this. I wasn't actually expecting it to be overly gory and actually have some pretty interesting scenes. Like there's this one scene in the film where these infected people start throwing these bodies through the roof of the mansion, and it's fucking cool the way they did it too. It came off really interesting. It was something I hadn't really seen in a film before. I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, you know, it's one of those type of films where, you know, it's starring Paul Naschy kind of in a lead supporting role, and it's a different type of role for Paul Naschy, because if you guys know who Paul Naschy is, he's mostly known for playing a lot of monster characters, you know, whether it be a werewolf or Dracula or just some type of monster character. He doesn't generally play himself, and he's kind of an asshole in this film. He's one of those characters who's out to only survive himself. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else and stuff, so it's pretty interesting. He's shooting clay pigeons and shit. It's pretty funny to see him in this type of role. But there's a lot of social commentary and subtext in this film, just like Night of the Living Dead. It plays out pretty much the exact same. It has a very downbeat ending, which is very cool. You know, but it's a fun watch. It was actually very, very entertaining. Apparently this version of the film actually has a little bit of a different soundtrack than the original Spanish version. The original Spanish version has whatever the music is, but I think a lot of the musical cues in this are actually taken from The Blob, which I actually read, which is kind of strange. But I mean, you guys, if you've seen Night of the Living Dead, which everybody listening to this podcast has seen Night of the Living Dead, you know what you're getting yourself into with this one. It's essentially the same thing, just with a nuclear war, post-apocalyptic type feel to it. But it's pretty interesting. It was actually pretty damn fun. It's dubbed in English, so it's got some pretty shoddy dialogue at times. I don't know if it's the right dialogue and shit, so it comes across pretty funny. But I will say the third act was pretty entertaining, and I do like the overall feel of the impending doom to this film. Like, you know, something's kind of off and something may be wrong or right, you know, whatever. But I like the whole paranoia of trusting people and, you know, not trusting the government, and endings like this I love movies like this. And, you know, they were essentially trying to accomplish the same thing that Romero or Night of the Living Dead essentially did with its downbeat ending and stuff like that. But really fantastic watch, to be honest. I mean, it's not overly the greatest film in the world, but I do highly recommend giving it a watch at least once. I give it about a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty decent watch. So
all right.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. All right. So, what's that?
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, definitely give it a shot if you can get your eyes on it. I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
I ain't buying no damn Code Red.
Well, I know you're not going to buy the film, but that's why I said if you can, you know, watch it some other way and stuff, give it a shot. I mean, it's all right.
All right. So by now you guys have heard the 1986 podcast. And there was a few films, a few stragglers that I didn't get to talk about because they didn't make my top 10. And I actually wanted to talk about one film in particular because I think that it is very interesting of note. Like, from my understanding, none of the guys watched it besides me. And it is called Extremities from 1986, obviously. And it stars Farrah Fawcett. And now, I got this film on VHS at Goodwill, and this is why I really enjoy picking up movies at Goodwill and like on VHS, especially if it's something that you never heard of before. because otherwise I probably never would have bought this. I don't even know if it's on disc or not. It probably is, but it follows a girl, and it starts out like super 80s cheese, like in the mall and stuff. And I didn't expect this movie to be serious at all. It's not a direct horror film. It actually was released by Olive on Blu-ray. I just noticed that. And it's not like horror, but it's what I call attempted rape revenge. So basically it follows the character of Marjorie, who is played by Farrah Fawcett, and she's at a mall and she leaves, and basically
really? Isn't that what happens when you go to a mall? You leave?
I mean, eventually. That's, I mean, I'm just setting up where this happens.
Not if it's a shopping mall. You never leave.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Except for like half of the characters lived, so.
Actually, yeah, they do.
So basically, actually she, I can't remember if she was at a mall or not. I can't remember. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Thank you, Jeremy. She gets into her car, and there's a guy in there that is a masked guy, and he, puts a knife to her and says, like, touch my peep and stuff like that. And so she has to touch his peep, and then like she escapes and basically calls the police. They pick up the guy who did it, but because he was like wearing a mask, like they're like, look, it's just your word against his. Like, he didn't actually rape you. Like, basically saying like, there's no evidence for this. You know what I mean? Because she's like, I want to press charges, lock this guy up, and they're like, there's no evidence. There's nothing. Except for you say that this guy was near you and he's saying he wasn't, and y'all are both at the same place. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting right away. But basically, we do know that this guy stole her wallet. Now, he did not have the wallet on him, apparently. And basically, he has her address. And basically, one day she comes home, and he's in there. And he does the same stuff, and he physically and mentally assaults her again. He's going to rape her. And she gets the upper hand and then ties him up. And basically, her roommates come home, and it's another his word against hers. Like, he has a story, and like they kind of believe. It's a very interesting film because it touches on topics of sexual assault and sort of the he said, she said type of thing that comes with sexual assault when there's actual no evidence of rape. Attempted rape is hard to prove because there's no evidence for it. So I find that the dynamics of this film is actually very intelligent, and that it's very much a social commentary on the difficulties in which women face being objectified and assaulted, and the lack of I guess proof, and it touches a very sensitive topic, and that's why I found it such an interesting movie. And it also touches on the topic of, because this character wants to kill him because she has no proof, but she's this guy's potentially raped other people and will do it again, and almost raped her. We know that as an audience because we see it happen, but other people do not. So it begs all kind of questions. The morality of things pop up. It's a pretty solid movie, and the more that I thought about it, the more that I actually liked it. It honestly probably could have made my top 10 at the number 10 spot. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's a very solid movie. It does feel like it holds back a little bit. At first, it almost feels like a TV movie, like a Lifetime thing, but then there is nudity in it. So I almost feel like if they really would have made it a little more hardcore, I think that it would have hit a little harder. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest negative. But I am coming from the background of seeing, I Spit on Your Grave and Irreversible and all these other movies. So it's a little tamer than those, but yeah, man, it kind of stuck with me, and that's why I liked it. So I'm gonna come in at 8 out of 10 on Extremities.
Damn,
sound interesting?
8 out of 10, crazy.
Pretty sure
No,
I
it does.
have this one.
You said it was
Is
released
that
by
an Olive that you didn't review?
I was going to say it was released by Olive. That's crazy. I didn't even know. I probably was going.
Never watched it.
It probably wasn't dubbed as horror, so I was just kind of going through, not even reading descriptions, like not horror, not horror, not horror. Horror, I'll take that one.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that I had in the collection. I knew it was from 1986 from when I bought it, but it was not on any, horror list or anything like that we use. So I was able to, and that happens sometimes. These ones that maybe aren't considered horror kind of slip through the cracks a little bit. But I think attempted rape and revenge falls into the category that it's eligible. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's not rape, but it's the same thing. It's the same topic. It's essentially the same film without actual rape.
Huh.
Like the other film I watched that did make my top 10 list was Implied Rape and Revenge. So we got implied rape and revenge and attempted rape and revenge. There's all these different subgenres of rape revenge.
That's hilarious. Good stuff. All right, Jeremy.
All right, next up, I am going to be talking about, yet again, another film from 2017. This is one JP talked about a few weeks back, and I wanted to watch it. And I think I missed the ball on this one, or the point of this one, until I talked to JP, and I fully admit that I was a full retard when it comes to this one. But I figured it out.
Dude, never go full retard.
Well, I did on this one until I figured out what was going on. And that is Raw from the year 2017.
From where, Jamie?
What?
From where?
France.
Exactly. Your one true love.
I am one true love, French cinema. And this movie sure is French. As JP talked about, unshaved armpits, that's for sure. But we followed Justine. Justine, of course, is, as JP talked about, a lot of it. She is a vegetarian who goes to a veterinarian school, which is, of course, probably what most veterinarians are. And she is thrown into a, I guess, like fraternity, sorority type of a situation. And she is forced to eat a
rabbit kidney.
And this ultimately turns Justine into a crazy person.
I don't think that's what actually happens. I think it unleashed something that was inside her, essentially.
Why that, though?
Because it's flesh.
But what about... That's interesting, because I was thinking about what happened in the beginning of the movie. That was going to be one of my...
She doesn't eat it, though. She doesn't she spit it out?
Yeah, but don't you think that she ingested something?
Maybe, but maybe it takes a little bit more. Maybe it has to digest or something. You know what I mean? It's speculation, but it's like, I think that's the point that they were going for.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. This movie, man. I liked it a lot. I think it does a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of really awesome commentary, subtext, whole bunch of stuff. Gender issues, which you always see in French horror films. It's always about gender issues. French extreme movies are all based about gender issues. And this is, nonetheless, the acting is really good. But, I don't feel like I love this one as much as JP. Like I said, I think I missed the point of this one until I was talking to JP about it, and then things started to piece together in my Jewish noggin, and I started to understand.
Okay, Jeremy, you said that it turns her into something, but why would a rabbit kidney do that?
It doesn't turn her rabbit?
Well, the whole point is that these people do not eat meat, the whole family. Yeah. And the mother flips out when there's meat on her salad or something.
Yeah, but then at the end you say that they're having a conversation, but the mother never says anything in that conversation that connects the dots of what's going on.
But the father does.
He doesn't say anything either. He just does the thing.
He says something
the last shot. He does the last shot.
Yeah, he says something through visual sense.
So is it something to do with the family?
He doesn't flat out say it.
Has like a family history of eating meat, and then it obviously does something to them. That's why they're vegetarians.
That's the thing.
Minor spoilers here, guys. I take it as like vampirism, but without actually being vampires. You know what I mean? The same sort of deal, almost like Teen Wolf, right? Where the kid inherited something from his family, but in this case, it takes something to kickstart it, and that is flesh.
But what is this? But what is it?
It doesn't matter. That's the thing. It's a MacGuffin. Does not matter. You know what I mean? That's not the point of the movie.
Then what's the point of the movie?
Spoiler alert!
It's like a coming of age, but like the situation that she's in, dealing with.
Does she really
this
evolve as a character? I don't really see her evolving that much as a character overall.
She doesn't really evolve.
But isn't a coming of age movie sort of follows a evolutionary
coming of age is kind of dealing with. I don't actually know what coming of age means. I always took it as like it's dealing with new things that are presented to you at a young age.
The way I see it is that the way that she is in the beginning of the film is the same exact way that she is at the end of the film, but in between there's this stuff that happens that I really don't think affects her psyche that much. What you see in a coming of age film.
I think this one would have been a good featured
that's
review.
The point, though.
I don't really think she learned any lessons, though.
I don't think that that's the point. I think it's supposed to be like drear, like you just like all this shit happened to you and that's it. You know, it's not like she learned. Like it's not like, oh, now I'm a better person for all this. Like it's.
But now that she's at this point, though, at the end of the film, that why isn't she the same way that she was when she was at the school? Why is she still not eating people?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, throughout the entire
she ate
film,
people the whole movie.
Exactly, but at the end, when she's sitting at the dinner table with her father, she's not eating people then. So why all of a sudden does she go back to
she has to deal with this? She has to deal with this now.
But if she can control it, then why didn't she?
How do you know she's not?
But if she can control it, why?
How do you know she's not?
That's
what I'm saying. Answer that question.
I don't know.
How do you know she's not?
I guess you don't know she's not, but
like that, you're asking a question that.
But it just feels like that whatever happened to her sister changed her in some kind of sense, that she went back to the way that she was at the beginning of the film when where she wasn't doing this.
I'm not sure I ever got that out of it.
Mm-hmm. It's a complicated movie again, but in a different sense.
I honestly don't think it's that complicated. Honestly,
I think this would have been a good
trying to make too much
review.
sense out of the stuff that is not. No, it definitely would have been. I think that you're trying to make too much sense out of things that aren't important. Like you missing the point of the film. The point of the film is this character struggling with her sexuality, her being older, her dealing with the fact that her sister's more beautiful and more popular.
Then it should have just been like that. Then the entire film. Then they shouldn't have had the cannibalism. Because what does
adds
it
another
add?
level to it, dude.
What though?
It makes it a horror film. It makes her also having to deal with these urges and this fact that she's like kind of falling for this guy, but then this tragic thing happens to him, and dealing with the fact that her sister.
Yeah, but wait. Her sister tries and stops her from eating the kidney. Her sister knows what happens when she eats meat. Why would she want her sister to go through what she goes through?
But haven't you noticed that the sister is kind of selfish and doesn't really care? But that again is also a theory. It's not fact that that's what happened too, because I don't know. It's kind of I think the sister's just okay with living like that. You know what I mean? Maybe she can control it a little bit more because she's older. And as you notice, the younger sister can't do anything on her own, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I love this movie.
Mm-hmm. I like it too. I think it's a really fantastic film. That's what I love about French movies. If they have like add really good conversations within people. Like I think like
and they don't hold back. I love that so much about it. Like the pubic hair scene and stuff. Like that would never be in a like mainstream American movie.
I just feel like all the really good in-depth conversations we've had on the show, and even when I wasn't on the show, like the Martyrs conversation is some of the best moments that we've had on the show. And I think it shows what I talk about all the time when I show my passion towards French cinema, that it just adds something to it that a lot of other countries don't have. And I think this movie once again shows that. So I had a really good time with this. Is it going to make my top 10? Yes, I think it will. So, but I don't think I loved it as much as JP. I know Joanna really loved this movie. A lot of other people really liked this movie. I enjoyed it as well.
It's really unique, and that's what I love that so much about it. Is it's not necessarily about the cannibalism and what's wrong with her. That's a secondary point that just progresses the story. It's a MacGuffin. It's just something that a device that is used to tell. The reason why is a MacGuffin. Sorry, not the actual.
Why the fuck is it a MacGuffin?
A MacGuffin?
No, where did that word come from?
That's Alfred Hitchcock coined that term. It's the bomb that the person is carrying. The bomb doesn't matter. It just progresses the story. You know what I mean? It's the bomb under the table thing or whatever.
No. Like, I know what it is.
That actually doesn't.
The actual word MacGuffin.
A MacGuffin is like from Pulp Fiction. What's in the briefcase?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
No.
You know what I mean?
As Hitchcock shows, there's a bomb under a table, and there's two people talking, and you never know whenever the bomb's going to go off.
No, I'm just referring to the actual word of MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it is.
But
it's a weird word.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to have your opinion on this one, Moodz, whenever you check it out.
I might even watch it.
I feel bad that we revealed so much, but honestly, it's not a movie that even matters for. There's not like a huge twist or anything. It's just kind of what it is. You can, and even whatever reveal there is, like you expect that to happen, but it's not that type of movie. You know what I mean? Where it's like that matters. What really matters is just watching this girl progress through this weird situation.
Yeah.
I gave it 8.5 out of 10 on this one.
So not that much lower than me. I gave it a 9.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, it just sounds by the conversation between you guys that this would have been a great featured review.
Honestly, dude,
it sounds intriguing.
So many movies that I've seen. We Are the Flesh. So many movies from 2017. We haven't covered a single movie from 2017, by the way, as a feature review. So maybe we should do that. You know what I mean?
Blackcoat's daughter.
But there's so many movies that I've seen this year. That
I still haven't watched We Are the Flesh, but I do have the Blu-ray, so maybe that's something that we could discuss and maybe
a lot of people were hating it. I really liked it.
Okay.
Complete art house. Completely.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
I've actually had a couple people even tell me that I'm probably going to love the film because I like that shit too, right?
It's like Horsehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Honestly,
if it's like that, then I'll love it. I fucking.
It may be a little more story, but the story is all it's very it's one of those things where it's like some people watch it and say pointless, bunch of scenes thrown together that doesn't mean anything. I watched it and I came away with some theories, and I think a lot of people miss some of the shit that I thought, but I could just be pulling shit out of thin air. It's who knows what the director really intended, but I really dug it. I honestly did. We Are the Flesh. It's a contender for my top 10 list. And a lot of the films that I've seen this year would have been great. I mean, honestly, just super great for the featured review. Capture, Kill, Release was the only one we talked about a lot, I guess. It wasn't really a featured review.
Yeah.
It was like a co-featured review. Alien Covenant, I guess, too. So, yeah.
So we're kind of lying. We've done a couple 2017 films, but maybe we should just do like a 2017 run-up.
It comes at night, kind of.
Again, haven't seen it.
But I'm very high on this year right now. I haven't seen everything, but I've been seeing some good stuff.
I did watch Get Out last night.
For the first time?
Yeah, it was my first time watch. So,
did you love it?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it was good. It was good. The one thing that I kept asking myself, which I mentioned to Jeremy earlier, was: is there supposed to be a mystery of what's going on to the film? Because if there is, there's definitely no mystery.
What do you mean?
To what's going on with her and her boyfriend and her family and the community and shit like that. I mean, obviously,
you mean what you find out why they.
Well, I meant the specifics of it. I mean, that I don't want to reveal too much here, but like the whole setup. I mean, obviously the fine specifics of what they're doing with these black people and stuff. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't see that at all. That was
no. That part. I mean, that's obviously one thing, but
you mean if they're up to no good?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously
I don't think so really, because I think everybody that I went with.
Because I stayed clear of like a lot of reviews and a lot of people talking about it, so I didn't really know. I didn't even really know the whole plot to the film, but like right away I was like, well, I was questioning her right away and stuff, and I don't know, man.
I think most people do. Honestly, I don't think that was supposed to be. I mean, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but I don't think. I think pretty much everybody saw that coming.
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a really good metaphor for what's going on in today's society in America, in itself. And I mean, there's
favorite little. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of little quirky pieces of dialogue in the film. Like I would have voted for Obama a third time, and there's just a lot of little quirky things that you kind of add up together, and it just makes it as a very socially relevant film. And it was enjoyable.
So many subliminal things in this film, and symbolic things. Like, did you notice that at the party, every single person has a piece of blue on, and he has a piece of red, or vice versa? Everybody has red, and he has a piece of blue on.
The blood and
just subconsciously, it's separating him from them to you. Or like when the girl is eating the cereal, she's eating the cereal and drinking the milk separately, separating the whites from the coloreds. Dude, so much of that stuff.
That's cool. That's cool.
I eat that shit up. It's
the blue
amazing.
and the red, the Bloods and the Crips. That's pretty cool. I loved how they utilized the cotton part. I really liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. When Chris was tied up with the cotton and shit. I thought that was really clever. Even though they didn't show it go into his ears, at first I was like, how in the fuck did he get that in his ears? Because he was fucking tied up. And then I just kind of put two and two together. I'm like, because there was a scene prior to that where he actually bent down and tried to bite off the buckles himself. Right. So he could obviously get down that far, so he could probably maybe stuff in his ears. But essentially, the cotton kind of saved his life. So there's that whole element too and shit. And I thought that was quite clever. But there was a lot of little clever things in the film. I thought was the only part in the film, and I mentioned this to Jeremy, that I thought was a little, they just kind of took it too far, was the scene where Chris's friend, the TSA agent, was talking to the officer, and he's explaining his theory to her, and it's kind of comical because he's the comic relief in the film. But that scene was fine. But then when they bring in the other cops, and then he has to explain his theory to them, and then they start mocking him, I was like, you didn't really have to take it that one step further. They could have just cut the scene and just kind of moved on. We get the point that it's a joke. This is obviously not happening.
A little like that too. I was okay with him being a comic relief. Like, I think that when I seen him, I instantly knew he was going to be the comic relief. Yeah. And I was okay with the choice of having a comic relief in the film.
He made me laugh.
I do think that he killed the theater.
Oh, he was funny.
The theater was so howling at that dude the whole time. But I do agree with Moodz. I think I would have trimmed that part down a little bit. Mm-hmm. My only real issue was I would have ended it different. And I know a lot of people everybody's like, no. I know how you would have ended it, and you're wrong. Everybody that I've told that I would have ended it different has said that I'm wrong. So that's like a personal thing, I guess.
Come to think of it, I actually forgot. But when I finished the film last night, on the Blu-ray, there actually is an alternate ending, and I forgot to watch it. I just realized that right now when you said
I think it's basically from what I heard, I'm pretty sure it's the ending that I would have done.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, which is funny.
But it's overall, it was a good film. I thought it was shot. One thing that caught me right away was the dude from Antiviral plays the brother in the film, and I really, really dig that guy. I think he's a great actor. I think he's going to be. Yeah. He's going to be.
I said the same thing, JP. I said the same thing.
I was. You know what, dude? Normally, when I'm watching a movie and there's somebody so familiar, I'm like, who? Like, I got to look this guy up. But if I'm in a movie theater, I can't do that. I must have forgot about it. Yeah. But that whole time, I like when they're talking about MMA and stuff because, like, I was like, that's cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that guy looked fucking familiar. That's Antiviral, dude. Episode 2.
Yeah, man. And I've always thought that he's a really good actor. Everything I've seen him in, he doesn't do a whole lot of stuff, but I think that guy could become a pretty big actor, like a good character actor and stuff. But I just kind of wish that he was in the film a little bit more because his character was interesting. It was off-ball, kind of like probably him in real life. But overall, it was enjoyable. It's a film that really could only be made right. Well, not only could be made, but I mean, I guess you could make the film anytime. But it's so relevant. It means so much right now. And I love that about it. I'm a big fan of, I'm not a big fan of politics, but I like political driven things. It's kind of weird like that. So.
I like something that can make you think and has way more depth than you can even notice on first watch. It's just, I know that this film is going to be studied and there's going to be more and more things that are noticed about it. Like, there's a whole list of all those things that the cereal and everybody wearing different colors. There's a whole list online that people have created. You
see, when you're just watching it, you're not thinking too hard about it. But now that you mention it, it's like, fuck yeah, totally. Yeah. Like the Bloods and the Crips, that's pretty funny.
Well, I mean, it wasn't going to war for Bloods and Crips. It was to
Republicans.
It's just the battle between one and the other, right? Yeah, it's just the separation.
Well, you're just seeing every single person at the party have one thing on, and then he being the only one that has something else on, which means he's an outsider. Subconsciously, you notice that, but you don't really know why.
I do have
amazing.
One thing. What did you think about the Flash? Do you think that was utilized properly in the film? Because that was kind of like a trigger moment. I mean, for the science of what they're doing, I mean, whatever, they make their own rules, how that works, because it's not, I guess within a community, if everyone's kind of on the same page with things and, you kind of know the rules of what not to do, I would assume these people would not break out a camera and start flashing away, because that would, not be good for what's going on. I guess it works in that world, because you couldn't take it on the... It's an experimental thing, and you got to realize why they're doing it. It's like, if you only... Even if there is a problem with it, it's like, I would still choose to do it over, the alternative, what happens. So, yeah. Yeah, very, very enjoyable film, though. I really enjoyed it, actually. It was good. So what did you rate it? I give that one probably about a 9 out of 10. Yeah. That was my initial rating.
That's about what I gave it to
as well. But I might come up on it because I did watch it twice because I got the screener Blu-ray. I've come up on it since, but I'm not sure if I'm going 0.5. Well, just learning 10. More about the the subliminal things like the blue and the red and the cereal, and now I want to rewatch it just to find all these things, and just kind of start picking it apart like
4K, motherfucker. I'm waiting to pick it up.
Well, I don't think you need 4K to notice the subliminal shit.
I do, motherfucker. 4K for life.
All right. So moving along here with what we watched. The second film I watched
segment time. Wait. That was your second film. What are you talking about? That's a second film. Come on.
Okay, I guess I just reviewed. I had no intentions of reviewing that film.
Well, you just said you talked for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that always okay? Fine. Get Out is my second. Yeah, that's funny. No intentions of reviewing that film. All right. So, Jay, who's up for segments?
I'll go first. Okay. I do apologize for this segment, guys, because it's 100% not a horror documentary. But it was the only segment-worthy thing that I watched this week.
What a fucking slacker!
I'm sorry, dude. I'm honest. Like this was the worst week for preparation since we've done this show. And
that's okay. I didn't do a segment either.
Oh, come on. I like that segment.
Dude, I got home from the in-laws. I had to drive an hour into town last night. Just watch my segment. You fuckers. So ill-prepared. This is not Horror 101. And it's basically about a documentary called... what is it called?
Future 2000 AD.
Future Shock...
2000 AD. The story of 2000.
The story of 2000 AD. This is released by Severin?
Yep.
Severin, yeah. I got a screener copy. I actually thought this was a documentary on like some kind of horror thing or something, but it's not. It's on comics. And basically it follows interviews from people who worked on the 2000 AD comic and pretty much created it. For which I guess the most famous thing is Judge Dredd, which came from there. And this is based in England, I believe. So you have all these artists from England who basically after, because you guys know how big censorship was in the UK. I guess there was like a bunch of censors on comics, so they kind of started this like new label, like 2000 AD or whatever.
It went from Action Comics to 2000 AD.
Yeah, and inside of the 2000 AD is individual stories. So it's like, I guess the main feature is 2000 AD, and then there's Judge Dredd stories in it and other stories, and eventually they branch off and have their own thing, I guess. But it's basically just them talking about how they came up and then how it kind of leveled off a bit and then kind of how it ended a bit, or the state of it today, because I believe this still runs today.
Yeah.
It was very interesting for me, not being huge into comics, but it's even more interesting because it's not like Batman and like Superman and like all the stuff we know. It's like I've literally only have like kind of heard of Judge Dredd and none of the other stuff. And they talk a lot about like violence and how they like went really like science fiction-y, but they like, you know, instead of humans, it's robots that are getting. And there was like a lot of comic artists and writers are very, very intelligent. Like they really are. The way they like, basically one of the guys was creating a group of like, it's set in the future and it's like, oh, these are the nomads or something, but really they're just Russians. They look like Russians, they do Russian things, and you know, it's they're like communists and stuff.
So they just drink lots of vodka.
He like hides the fact that they're Russians, you know, because he calls them nomads or whatever, you know what I mean? So it made me realize like how intelligent and like underrated like the storytelling in comics is. And also the biggest thing I took away from this is like the filmmakers think they got it bad in the movie industry. Boy, did they get fucked in the comic world.
Oh yeah.
like bad. Like there was a point where they told the, you know, viewers that the checks that they got had a disclaimer, fine print on the back of them that says, if you cash this check, you submit all rights and copyrights to the company.
Yep,
so basically, if you actually cash the check that you get paid for creating, like, let's just say, like, you know, Wolverine or something, just to kind of compare it, you're basically, the moment you cash your paycheck, you sign over all rights to Wolverine, the character and the stories. Like, it's so fucked up, dude.
That's ridiculous.
It is absolutely insane. And that's what I took away from this thing mostly, that I just found that to be like so criminal. And this is stuff that still happens today, where they
so if you want to own something, you can't make money off it, or what?
If you want to create something and keep the rights, like, I guess you can't make money on it unless you self-publish. But it's things that still happen today. Like, that comic world is very like dicey with copyright still to this day. And there's like no laws against it, and it's kind of messed up. It really is. But yeah, I mean, this documentary was cool. I think it was from 2016, 2014, somewhere around there. Not horror, but it's worth a watch.
I liked it.
I give
way
it
better than
7 out of 10.
Way better than VHS Massacre, that's for sure.
I like VHS Massacre a lot more, but this is definitely a better made documentary. I just don't care about
Jeremy, I think you're like one of the only people that really didn't care for that one.
They dropped the fucking ball on
I haven't seen it yet, and
it was just like very just homemade. Like, it has no
not that. They could have made the movie. Like I told JP a few days ago, all they had to do was fucking just go into a convention and fucking take your camera and talk to somebody. No, they didn't talk to anybody from Vinegar Syndrome, Synapse, Severin, Grindhouse. I don't even think
Vinegar Syndrome was really big back then.
But
what the hell does Vinegar Syndrome have to do with VHS anyway?
It's talking about fucking physical media, dude. They could have talked to him about physical media. Charlie Band, you know? I don't know.
They talked to Lloyd Kaufman.
Okay. So one person. I really fucking... I
mean, honestly, Jeremy, though, if you think about it, if you went to a convention right now and was like, hey, I'm making a documentary, can I talk to you? No, kid, we're busy.
So you fucking email the fucking press person beforehand. We do it. Why can't they?
I know. I'm with you, but this seemed like such a fan project, that I don't know if it. I think it kind of evolved into a documentary, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it was just like a topic I don't know, man. It's definitely not like amazingly done or anything. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm going to do a pick of the week, and I've been wanting to talk about this film for a few weeks now since I watched it when we were off, and I've watched it 2 more times since then. So I've watched this one 3 times.
Wow, that's got to be a fucking record for you.
That is, of course, the Blackcoat's daughter from the year 2000.
Oh, I get it. You had to watch it 3 times to get the point of it.
No, I got the point of this one on the first shot.
He did, actually, because I talked to him a little bit.
Yeah. I was
more confused than him.
I love this fucking movie so goddamn much. It's just, it has that sort of atmosphere and doom to it that I feel like so many movies miss. Because it takes place in the winter time, and it just has that cold, isolated, gloom and doom type of feel to it that I feel like so many films,
like Jeremy's bedroom.
Yeah. No, more Jerry's bedroom. So many films that can't replicate this. Like I talked about before, I think the second act of House of the Devil, when the main character is in the house, has that. It's the last time that I've felt that kind of really strong sense of gloom and doom in a film. So basically, we follow. Well, this is kind of like hard to review and explain, but we follow Kat and Rose. They are 2 girls. Rose is a senior, and Kat is the freshman at this all-girls school. And it's basically like Raw a little bit, where it's this Kat trying to find her footing and finding her ground at this all-girls school, trying to fit in and things like that. And it's the winter break, and these 2 get stranded after their parents don't pick them up. And then it cuts to Emma Roberts' character, Joan, as she's basically trying to get to this all-girls school that Kat and Rose is at. And it intercuts between the 2 stories as the film goes on in a very smart and interesting way. And then some shit starts to go down, and the film just evolves from there. Now, the way that the story is pieced together is a really, really amazing thing, in my opinion, because of the fact that you get little bits and pieces of what's going on throughout the entire film, but it's not really blatantly in your face. And I know that some people have a bit of a problem with a plot hole that occurs near the end of the film with Joan and 2 parents, and I could understand why people are upset about that, but that really doesn't take away much from the film from me. Now, the movie doesn't have a high body count. It's not bloody. It's not gory. It's none of that, but it has just an amazing sense of gloom and atmosphere that no films in the past 5 years, in my opinion, have touched. It's definitely one of my favorite movies that I've watched in the last 5 years, easily. I really, really connected with this movie. I loved it a hell of a lot more than I thought I would have, but I really, really did enjoy this one. It seems like everybody's on the same page with me on this one. It seems a lot of people are loving this movie, watching it multiple times like I have. And this is directed by Anthony Perkins' son, and I know he made another movie that's on Netflix that I still have to check out, but I see if he keeps following in these footsteps, then I feel like we're going to see some more really great stuff from him. So, of course, this one gets a 10 out of 10 from me. I really, really love this movie a lot. Yeah.
You know what's funny, dude, is I love this movie a lot, too. And I heard that plot hole, which I didn't think of at the time. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I have to rewatch it because I have to see if I can explain it away. But it's a pretty major plot hole.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't explain it away.
Okay, what's the plot? What?
Can we say spoilers?
Yeah, all right. It's a spoiler alert, guys.
Because you got me thinking now. I'm like, what plot hole?
So the plot hole is when Joan gets picked up by the parents of Rose, and the parents don't know who Joan is.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that is...
And look, you can say, well, I didn't know that was her either because she looks completely different. But then it almost makes it worse because it's technically a different actress. So of course she looks different, and nobody would recognize her because it's not the same person in real life. So it's almost like a cheat, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
it's almost a cheat.
But pertaining to the story, it should technically make sense, right? So I can see where I can see where people have a problem with that.
Yeah, but it's almost like a double problem because it's like you can't even say, well, she looks different after all these years because it's like, well, of course she does because look, it's actually a different actress. So yeah, you're right. She does look different. So you can't even say like we made her look different because it's actually a fucking different person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's almost like a complex bullshittery.
But the parents are technically supposed to be seeing that person, right? So
yeah, I know. What I'm saying though is like when you say, "Oh, well, look how different she looks."
Yeah.
You know, it's been so long, she looks so different, and it's like, well, you can't say that because it's a different actress. So you can't actually use that as an excuse.
Because it's 9 years or something like that.
Yeah,
but even 9 years though, you would still be like, okay, like
what look the same.
I mean, you would still recognize that person. I mean, if it was
especially if it was that significant, I would think so.
Yeah, right. So okay.
That shit doesn't take anything away from me. Fuck that.
It's a pretty big plot hole.
Actually,
I think about
I never really. That's funny you bring that up, but yeah, right away I knew exactly what you were talking about. I was like, oh fuck, totally. Crazy.
I suspend.
Like you have to suspend your disbelief a great deal to think that they wouldn't recognize her, unless I watch back. Like, was she arrested? Like, how did I can't remember.
She was in a mental.
I have to
okay,
rewatch
so
it
then
too.
definitely then.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch it too now just to see that. Okay, I've only seen it once.
That's definitely a problem.
I was pretty fucking high on that film until you just fucking ruined it for me, Jeremy.
But you know what else though, dude? They do recognize her, kind of. Just in a different way. They're almost blinded. You know what I mean? They're like, there's something so familiar about
I think the mother knows that something's up. I think the dad...
she can't know that that's the same person. There's no way she'd be chilling with him.
I don't think that she... I think she has a suspicion that something's up.
She has a suspicion that the girl's just a piece of shit and like they shouldn't be helping her because she's probably a drug addict or something. Mm-hmm. There's no way she has suspicion that she's like a criminal or something, like a murderer or something.
Mm-hmm.
No way. That's too far out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But seriously though, like you can say that like because the whole time they're like something is familiar about her, but they keep saying that it's their daughter, but it's actually not. She's probably familiar because it's the person that killed your daughter. Because even the mother says you look fucking nothing like our daughter. So maybe it's like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'll have to rewatch it and see how it's played out, but that could hurt my final rating for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. Shit.
I'd be curious to ask Mr. Perkins. I wonder if it says anything in the commentary.
Yeah, that would be a good...
Maybe I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
Huh. Since I've watched it 3 times already.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I love the movie a lot. I really do.
All right.
Cool. All right. So my Italian Stallion of the week is coming from the year of 1976 also, and it is called Werewolf Woman. This film was directed by... What's that?
Also?
Yeah, the first film.
Coming from 1976 also?
The first film I reviewed was from 1976.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, did we review another 76?
Yeah. People Who Own the Dark from 1976. That's why I told you to check it out. Yeah, man. He, the director here, Reno D. Silverstro? I don't know. Italian name. Totally butchered the shit out of that. He's known for directing some pretty damn sleazy films, man. He directed Hannah D. in 84, Deported Women of the SS Special Section, also from 1976, which is incredibly sleazy. Woman in Cell Block 7, so... if you've seen any of those films, you know exactly kind of what you're getting yourself into this one. A little bit of a disclaimer on this one. The title of the film, Werewolf Woman, is a little bit misleading. I will say that right off the hop. So with that said, I'll get into the synopsis of this one. Basically, this film follows our main character, Daniela. She's got a past, man. She's a pretty wrecked individual. She had something happened to her where she got raped and she got ravaged a little bit and really kind of broke her mental state and stuff like that. So now she's built up this phobia, like this sexual phobia and also a very deep hatred for men. So she's kind of dealing with this and stuff, and then she starts having these crazy nightmares about this ancestor that looks exactly like her. And in her dreams, this ancestor actually could shapeshift into a werewolf. And she also had this very deep hatred for men and stuff. And that's what she would do. She would go around and, you know, rip out the throats of men and stuff like that and whatnot. And so coming back into reality, she's kind of dealing with this, and she's starting to think that maybe it's kind of connected and that she may be a werewolf and things like that. So her sister comes back from America with her husband. Her sister's off there going to school and stuff. Shows up with her husband. Ultimately ends up seeing her sister have sex with her husband, which kind of triggers something. And she ends up killing her sister's husband. She gets institutionalized. She gets put in this hospital and stuff. Shit goes down in there. She kind of breaks out and then goes on this like crazy rampage killing spree and shit. And then something happens in the third act, and then she goes out for revenge. And it's this like fucking crazy film. But yeah, it's the synopsis of the film. So my thoughts on this one. It's actually pretty damn good, I have to admit. For a film that, you know, is a little bit misleading. There's not really a werewolf in this film. It's more of a psychological character study of our main character, Daniela. She's, like I said, she's got this past, you know, she's very destroyed and shit like that. And, you know, it's pretty much, like I said, it's just a character study of her. But pretty good though, man. There's some pretty good gore in this film, and it's sleazy as all living hell. Of course, having to deal with sexual phobias and stuff. There's tons of tits and muff and ass and just like open vagina in this film. It's crazy, man. There's fucking so much shit going on. There's this really kind of fucked up scene where she's in the hospital and you know, she has just killed her sister's husband, so she's tied down in these straps. Anyways, there's this crazy bitch that's in the hospital, and she comes to her room, and then this girl like starts like molesting her and shit and like eating her out and shit. It's fucking crazy. There's this huge lesbian scene and shit. So that was pretty wild and shit. But this film, in my opinion, it's like, you know, I think for somebody that's watching this movie, you're going to kind of look at it and go, this film doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like, is it a, you know, a psychological character study of this woman, or is it a revenge film and stuff? Because it kind of switches modes in the third act. You know, she ends up kind of finding a partner which she is really liking, and then something happens, and then she ends up going on this rampage and stuff. But I think it's fitting to the study of her. She's, you know, like I said, it's a character study of her. She's up and down. She's already damaged in things. So I think the progression from what we have in the first 2/3 of the film to what happens in the third act is actually explainable. I think it works for the film without giving too much away. But it's a pretty fun film, I have to say. It was actually shot pretty well. The dialogue, yeah, I mean, it's shot in English. It's dubbed, obviously, but some of the dialogue is just fucking cheesy as hell. It actually kind of makes you laugh a lot. And I will say, generally, I'm a big fan of like Italian scores and music and stuff. I found a lot of the music that was used in this film was a little bit shitty, actually. It was kind of cheesy and bad at times and stuff. So that kind of hurt it a little bit for me. I was like, damn, man, better music would have probably brought out a lot of these scenes. The film has a really, really great opening sequence to the film. It's fucking fantastic. And it also gets pretty dark towards the end. The middle's a little bit different. It has its moments and stuff, but it starts and finishes quite well. With enough to, you know, recommend this one. I mean, I've heard people say they didn't really care for this one. I'm not really entirely sure why. If you're an Italian cinema fan, you should probably dig this one. Like I said off the hop, it's a little bit misleading from the title, but it's a cool character study. I like these psychological type films. 7.5 out of 10. Give it a shot. It's pretty fun. Watch the Blu-ray from Romero Video. It looks pretty damn good for what it is. You know, I mean, it's probably as good as it's going to look. So Give it a shot, Werewolf Woman. All right, so getting into the featured reviews for episode 107 here, and we decided to go with a little bit of a different theme and do some Blaxploitation horror films. And why not do Blacula and its sequels, Scream, Blacula, Scream? Why not, right? So starting off here from the glorious year of 1972, we've got Blacula, directed by William Crane. Quick little synopsis here. An ancient African prince turned into a vampire by Dracula himself finds himself in modern Los Angeles. Yes. Now, what I've always said about these films...
There's one plot hole that bothers the fuck out of me in this movie.
Okay, we'll get to that. The one thing about these two films, we'll start with this one, that always kind of surprises me every time I watch these is the fact that they're not comedies. These movies are played like straightforward. You think in the heyday of Blaxploitation they would kind of exploit it as more of a comedy because you think it would work a little bit better as being a comedy, but it's definitely one thing that just surprises the shit out of me. I know that you were surprised too, Jeremy, were you? That they were actually played straightforward?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised, and the soundtracks fucking rule in both of these movies.
Oh, fantastic. Great early funk.
I wish I could fucking just download them and listen to them because they're fucking awesome.
I mean, I 100% agree with the fact that they're pretty straightforward. Like, pretty much I've known about these films for years, never seen them, and I expected them to be comedic. You know what I mean? Like ridiculous and over the top, and like a parody almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're really not at all. They're definitely not parody, but I mean they're also played like a regular horror film too. It's pretty interesting. I mean, there's funny stuff, but it's not super intentional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, It's unintentional, last for sure. Exactly. Like right in the middle of the heyday of Blaxploitation films, you got like these two horror films, and it's the titles alone are a little bit comedic, right? So you're kind of looking at them going Blacula and Scream, Blacula, Scream. It sounds like you should be having some laughs, but I love the fact that they didn't go that route and make these comedies. You know, trying to play these films straightforward, in my opinion, worked. And I think some of the casting actually helped in this film, to be honest. I mean, having William Marshall play Blacula was fucking perfect, man.
He's great.
The dude is bad fucking ass. It's too bad that he never made it, like, as a huge actor. Like, he worked throughout his whole career until he passed away, but he never really got that, like, kind of huge status and stuff. And I think for the most part, if you mention William Marshall's name, you might not even know who the fuck he is, but William Marshall, man, plays the Blacula character so strong and so amazing, and he's got one of the best voices ever. It was great casting. I love that about it. So
yeah, he's great. Now, the one problem I had with the movie is at the end of the movie where the doctor and the sergeant go into the warehouse and all the Dracula vampires are, and they don't carry any fucking crosses or anything like that. And throughout the entire rest of the film, they always have fucking weapons and crosses and shit like that. If they knew they were going into a warehouse that was probably filled with vampires, why the fuck didn't they not have any weapons? So fuck that. That shit bothered the hell out of me.
Well, I don't think they exactly knew what they were... I mean, I think they were going after Blacula himself, right?
Yeah, but they would go everywhere else and they would have a cross or something like that. They just fucking go into this place with nothing. And
that's definitely a very valid point, honestly.
I mean, I guess.
When you think about it, it's definitely...
fucking bothered the hell out of me.
Kind of sloppy script writing there.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely not perfect, but you know, I actually really enjoy this film. I think, you know, it's very kind of typical. You know, the storyline is not too crazy in this film.
It's a very, very basic storyline. One thing that, okay, so Blacula, before he's Blacula, first of all, before he's Blacula, him and his wife go to this guy about like slaves or something, and then like, he's Dracula, and he is like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna lock you in a coffin, and he's like, then I'm gonna name you for some reason. Like, what the and so the girl died and Blacula lived, and he gets reawoken in present day Los Angeles, And
which is another part of the
he
sloppy.
sees a girl who looks like his wife.
Well,
or is it supposed to be his wife? Or
well, I think it's like a descendant or something.
But then, how did she have babies? And why is she in LA?
Yeah.
No, I think it's someone that just looks like Luva. You know, when he meets Tina, he completely reminds her of Luva. She's not.
Well, it looks just fucking like her.
Well, that's the reason why he falls in love with her.
Wikipedia says he believes she's reincarnated.
Yeah, so it's all in his mind, really. I mean, it's actually not the reincarnated Luva. It's someone that just looks exactly like her. And it's in his mind. But the sole purpose of Blacula, you know, once he sees her, is he needs to regain his one love in life. So, I mean, he was looking for that right from the start when he got resurrected, which is another interesting, odd scene in the film, because you have these two enormously flamboyantly gay art dealers that buy all this shit from, like, Romania.
Really? You think they were gay?
They actually were gay. They actually talk about it in the film. So...
You know, they do say faggot a lot in this movie, JP.
That was me being sarcastic.
Yeah, of course. But that's such an oddball scene. I don't know if you guys noticed, but, you know, they're fucking around with all their antiques that they just bought, and all of a sudden, like, he just comes out of the coffin, like, he just resurrects, right? Like,
they're actually, according to Wikipedia, they're not art dealers. What are they? Interior designers.
Yeah, that's right. They actually are, which adds to the flamboyantly gay characters of them. But yeah, that's right. They were buying these antiques to, you know, to sell off and do whatever. But that you know, that's kind of a funny piece to buy. If you're an interior decorator buying a coffin, you're just going to put that in the fucking corner of someone's house or what? But that was one thing about this, the resurrection of Blacula I always thought was kind of stupid, is he just, like, walks out of the fucking coffin. Like, there's nothing to, like, resurrect him. At least in the second one we get that. You know, like, we actually get a full resurrection.
It's like if his coffin opened and there was, like, a padlock on it, and the dude, like, knocks the padlock off. So
I guess that was like, enough.
Well, I'm resurrected.
Modern day era.
So you think he was just, like, hanging out in there the whole time, or you think he was asleep?
That's what
how the fuck did he eat?
That's what I always wondered too. I was like, how the fuck did he just? I don't know.
Don't they need blood or else they, like, die?
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Or maybe not in this one. Maybe they just crave blood.
Yeah.
Because it depends what vampire lore you follow.
Exactly. But it was just very convenient. They didn't have to do anything but knock the lock off, and then all of a sudden just resurrects Blacula. I don't know. But they got what they deserved.
It's even crazier in the next ones.
Yeah.
I like that when he turns black, like when he's, like, vamped out, he, like, gets, like, facial hair.
Yeah, he gets sideburns.
But they're, like, these disconnected sideburns. It's like these little patches.
Oh, dude, I love that when he turns into Blacula, man. It turns, like, so... He's got the wickedest chops ever. You know, in this... Yeah. The hair facial, the placement of the hair is just so funny, dude. It cracks me up, man. I love how, like, modern he looks to 1970. Or 72. It's so fucking awesome.
It's like he just woke up. He's like, oh, I don't need to get any clothes.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome shit.
My 1700 garbs are just fine.
You know, another interesting fact, or another interesting thing, you know, in the backstory in the beginning of the film, when, you know, I guess what's his name, Mandewald, I think was his actual name, but he's there at, you know, Dracula's place talking about slavery and things like that. Oddly enough, slavery in the U.S., where this was, you know, I mean, it's kind of connected, I guess, in a sense, but slavery had been, you know, kind of abolished in 7 years earlier. Just kind of an odd thing that they were just talking about slavery and shit like that. But
when does it take place?
The backstory takes place in what, 17? Oh no, it's 1780. I was thinking 1880. Never mind. Yeah, you're right, man. This is 1780. Shit, holy Christ, man. That's like way before.
Retard alert.
I was totally looking at my thing going 1880. Yeah, that was it would have been 1873 is when Lincoln freed the slaves. But anyways, yeah. So do you guys actually enjoy this film, man? I think it's a fun ass film, man. I mean, besides the obvious lazy kind of script writing and shit, man, it's pretty refreshing to see.
It's
a film
super
like this.
low budget for sure. You know what I mean?
Different.
It's
yeah.
You can tell that it's like very like guerrilla style, like, hey, I'm gonna make a movie and I'm gonna get this person and that person who, you know, from the streets or whatever to make this movie with me. And
if you've seen a lot of blaxploitation films from this time, man, it actually has the feel of most of those films. I think a lot of those films were shot low budget, guerrilla style, so it kind of fits in that mold. I mean, like
Dolomite, which we've talked about on the podcast. I think I've talked about like Coffee and Foxy Brown, which might even be a little higher budget than this one, but the lower budget Blackenstein, which I recently watched, they all have this low budget feel.
Yeah, for sure.
We should have did Blackenstein with these two as well.
That would have been fun to do.
Yeah.
One part in this film that always kind of makes me laugh is when Blacula runs into the cab driver. That cab driver fucking reminds me of Smokey from Friday, but it's a female. Every time I watch, she's talking about. Yeah, dude, it's like so fucking funny. But
I love Smokey. It's like one of my favorite characters.
So essentially, what we have here, yeah, me too, man. We have a fucking love story. You know, it's very typical of a vampire film to have, you know, Blacula or Dracula trying to find his love or something like that. So the storyline is very, very basic in this one.
I love the mortician. He was my favorite character. I want to know how the fuck he lost his hand, and why the fuck he has a hook as a hand. That's what I want to know.
I don't think they don't tell you, do they?
I know, but it's just funny. It's just amusing. He's an amusing, stupid, your typical stupid character, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very politically incorrect film. I mean, a lot of the dialogue that's used in this film, you just can't do today.
Oh, yeah.
You can't go around like
a lot of faggots, a lot of niggers, a lot of everything.
Yeah, dude, they just start dropping all those. I mean, you just don't hear that type of dialogue nowadays because it's so sensitive, right? But yeah, it's something of the times. That's why I like watching about these old films, man. You get shit like that.
And it's PG too, which is even funnier, you know.
Is it really?
Yeah. PG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poltergeist was PG.
One thing in this film that I've always found to be quite interesting is the simple fact that it's not necessarily the police that are doing a lot of the investigation in this film. It's more or less the doctor, you know, who's doing the autopsies and stuff. He's noticed that these killings are odd.
Wait, this sounds exactly like Scream Blacula's Scream. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, because it's the same fucking movie. Pretty much. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, no, it's just kind of interesting where it's the doctor doing more, and the lieutenant just kind of sits back, and it's almost like he's giving the doctor orders. Okay, well, yeah, go and find out this, go and do that. And I'm like, where the fuck are the detectives, man? Like, you don't see that in films very often, where the fucking, you know, someone else is doing all the investigating instead of the police, when they're actually involved, too. It's kind of a weird plot line to the film, but... I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? You know, the doctor has noticed all these weird killings and stuff. He might as well go and figure out that it's...
He's like the one
heading it's cannibalistic.
He's like doing all the research and shit.
I know, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. You just don't see that in films very often.
That's weird. They could have just easily made him a detective.
I know, like, if you were just half paying attention to this film, you would totally think that the doctor was the police officer, right? Like, the way he's investigating. It's bizarre.
Like, why can't he just be the detective? Like...
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so what do you guys want to rate this bad boy?
I come in at a 7 out of 10.
You know what? Apparently,
I think that... What?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. So I liked this movie a lot, honestly. Like, it was really solid. It was entertaining. The plot is paper thin. Like, it's as basic as you could possibly get. Like, you can pretty much write the entire plot in like 3 lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, it has good music, like Jeremy said, and it's just kind of fun. It's just kind of fun to see these interpretations of Dracula in sort of the black community and the culture that it's set. It's kind of fun to see it play out in that culture. It's not like Blacula in the Hood or anything like that. It's just like, you know, it's just different subculture, you know. Especially 70s, which is like jive, you know what I mean? So yeah, I liked it. I'm gonna come in at a 6.5 out of 10. Phil, on this one.
man, it's not really an overly gory film or anything, but Blacula, he does such a great job. He's so fucking menacing, so believable in this role. I love the character, man. William Marshall just kills it, man. So damn good. There's a little bit of effects in the film that don't hold up. Like, there's a scene where he actually turns into a bat, and it's unintentionally funny because the effect is so... But at the same time,
I thought that happens in Scream, Blacula, Scream.
Yeah, it does.
No,
it happens in both of them.
There's an effect in both films.
I like the one in Blacula, Scream, Blacula, Scream.
I can't
remember the one.
I think that one goes on for a little bit longer. I think they show the bat for a little bit longer or something. So it comes off pretty funny, but no, I love this, man. I just love the fact that, like, he's hardcore, man. When he's fucking up the cops at the end of the film, it's like, yes, pretty awesome shit. So JP, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Blacula? Do you think in that scene? Do you think there was bad worm placement in that scene?
I can't remember. I should have paid attention to the worm placement.
I forgot about it, and I was like, oh damn, I gotta ask JP about that, man. Pretty awesome film, or a pretty awesome part. But yeah, man, one of the most outstanding things about this film is the soundtrack. Fucking awesome, driven funk, total blaxploitation music, absolutely amazing. My rating isn't going to change on this one. Apparently, I rated this one 7 out of 10, so that's what I have written down. So that's what I'm going with. So.
All right, let's get into...
Wait, what did JP give it?
6.5.
I gave it a 6.5.
Oh, okay.
6.5. Come on, man.
Spacing out.
Yes. All right, so Scream, Blacula, Scream, the sequel from 1973, only a year later.
1 year later. Same year as Blackenstein.
It's kind of a shame that they didn't make a third one to this. Make it like a full trilogy kind of thing. I think it would have been pretty good, but...
I don't know after this one, though. The ending is kind of...
Yeah. All right. Quick little synopsis. The vampire Manuald Blacula is stirred by African voodoo and forced to kill again. So...
Okay, so spoiler alert, obviously we're spoiling these because it's a direct sequel.
Yes.
The thing is, like, the ending of the first film, he basically commits suicide because he lost his love again.
Yes, he can't live
So
without her.
why the fuck doesn't he just do that? Like, why is he down to be back now?
See, now my theory on this is the setup to this film is basically this voodoo queen is dying and she leaves her hair to... which I think or she doesn't give it to her son. She gives it to, I think, her stepdaughter, which is played by Pam Grier. So this like infuriates this dude, and he's like fucking pissed off. He's like, I'm older, I'm your daughter, or I'm your son. Why the fuck are you leaving it to her? Kind of thing. So all in all, basically what happens is he wants revenge against his stepsister, I believe. So he goes into this other kind of voodoo priestess type deal, and he's got these bones of Blacula, and he's like, well, if you can resurrect him, you can get revenge this way, blah, blah,
But why
blah.
the fuck does this mofo has his bones?
Well, maybe, I mean, it doesn't really have to be explained. I mean,
Just like an occult thing, you know.
But they were on the fucking... He died on the roof.
Yeah, but how does any weirdo person own any weirdo thing?
dude, if you're
if
you're into that voodoo type shit, you're probably going to go out and find some voodoo type shit. So this guy has obtained some voodoo type shit. So that's what he does, man. This dude, he resurrects Blacula, and instead of using Blacula as a slave, he ends up getting turned himself. See, my theory on this is that the reason why when he gets resurrected, he doesn't just like kill himself again. It's because now he's fucking pissed off. He's fucking pissed off. He committed suicide in the first film, and he gets resurrected, obviously against his will, because he wants to stay dead. And that's kind of a driving force in this film also. Because, he essentially wants... I mean, he kind of changes his mind a little bit. He doesn't want to be... he doesn't want to be the undead in the film. So hence, Pam Grier's character, why he wants her to live in this film, because he wants to use her to basically exorcise the devil out of him kind of thing, right? But this is why he creates this whole force of vampires in this film, because he's fucking pissed off. He's like, well, if you're going to resurrect my ass, I'm going to make you my damn slave, and I'm just going to start fucking with everybody. I kind of like that idea of it a little bit. I think towards the end of the film in the third act and stuff, it kind of gets old to him, and he's like, fuck this. He's like, what the fuck am I doing? You can kind of see it.
Fucking a bug flew down my throat.
Damn. Right in the throat. Right in the kisser.
Jesus Christ.
That was some voodoo type shit right there, man.
I'm about to throw up.
That's some voodoo type shit, man.
Inhaled a bug.
Dude, take a drink. Take a drink.
It sounded like you were dying.
But you know what I'm saying, Jeremy? Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's just like, fuck JP, he's dying.
Ooh, oh my god. Ugh. It itches. I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead.
But right, like, he's essentially fucking pissed off, and this is why he creates this army for whatever reasons. I mean, there doesn't have to technically be a reason. He just wants to control people because now he's pissed off. But that's kind of what it is. I mean, he could kill himself, but he's like, why? I mean, you brought me back. I'm going to do some shit about this. So I kind of like that idea that he's pissed off in this film, and it shows in the film itself. You know, it's a little gory.
It's a little convenient, but I'm okay with that.
Should have just named it Blacula Resurrected. God damn it! It could have been the first resurrected movie.
But I like that though, like,
Come
because
on,
he
man.
comes up being
What's
vicious.
the second resurrected movie, Jeremy?
I don't know.
Yeah, because nobody calls anything resurrected. It's resurrection.
Oh, fuck you. You know what I meant, you fucking homo.
That's fucking hilarious, man.
I'm sorry, bug eating boy.
So what's your guys' thoughts on this one?
First of all, man, if you're gonna have Pam Grier in your movie, like, can we get a nude scene at least?
Which is funny because this is actually after she did. I think she's done Coffee before this one, and she showed her tits in that. So what the hell, I agree.
She shows her tits in a bunch of stuff, doesn't she?
Every movie. Yeah, there's no Pam Grier titties in this film. I actually have the written.
Pam Grier, one of the most beautiful
Nubian sisters,
black actresses of all time, and no boobs.
Yeah, this is one of her probably rare roles especially in the 70s where she doesn't show her titties.
Yeah,
that's too bad, man. It's too bad.
I'm saying, Jeremy, fuck the PG. Let's go R. We got Pam Grier in our film.
Sorry, you want to see some meat curtains. It's not my problem.
Meat curtains? Isn't that vaginas?
Yeah. Jesus.
You would want to see Pam.
It's even more evident that Jeremy's never seen actual meat curtains in his life.
Just Jerry's.
Ooh, low blowing.
But
low blowing.
Yeah, I love Pam Grier. I didn't even know she was in this, dude, until I watched the credits, and I was like, holy shit. Another interesting thing, there's actually, I don't know if you guys checked this out, there's an interview on the Blu-ray, the Scream Factory Blu-ray, with one of the actors, Richard Lawson, and he tells a story of how he got this role. He basically auditioned for it, didn't get it, got a different part. The guy that got his part eventually fell out and he got promoted. But he tells a story that where he was living, turns out that the landlord was actually the guy who directed the original Blacula. How fucking bizarre is that?
That's
is
so
that
weird.
Crazy or what? Just by chance. How does that even happen? It's such a weird thing. His landlord directed Blacula.
That's so
and
bizarre.
Apparently we have our friend in the 22 Shots group, longtime listener.
Yeah, he said his great uncle directed this film.
This is his
He
great uncle.
directed Count Yorgula, whatever. I can't remember the name.
Returns.
Isn't that the name?
Count
Yeah.
York, the Returns or whatever. Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's neat. I know that he mentioned that before, but I didn't. That's really neat, man. I wish my uncle did something cool. Anything cool, really.
Yeah.
Oh, he did both Count Yorgis. Okay, and he did Act of Vengeance as well.
Oh, the rape revenge film.
74. Is it? Wait, which one is that?
Act of Vengeance. It's just a rape. I think the alternate title is Rape Squad. It's about a girl that gets raped and she goes to this one of those.
Now, is it attempted rape?
No,
is
it's rape.
Is it assumed rape or is it assisted rape?
No, she gets raped and she ends up going to the support group for raped women and stuff, and they form this rape squad. And basically, what they do is they go.
They're
out,
rape squad killers.
They go out and
What
revenge.
does that have to do with Blacula?
They go out and revenge. But the interesting thing about this film is that it actually one of the rapists in this film, or the main rapist, actually wears like a Jason mask. It's so fucked up. It's from like 74. It's crazy. It's bizarre.
Cool.
I know. Maybe they stole that shit from them. I don't know. All right, getting back to Scream Black for the Scream. One thing I like about this film is actually the story. Like it's a little more developed. You know, in this, I like, you know, there's a police investigation and stuff, but I like the fact that, you know, they think that, you know, the voodoo people are doing these killings and stuff. So it's kind of got like that type of angle going for it and stuff. At least it's a little more developed in the first film. I like that though. You know, that was kind of cool.
Apparently, it made $1 million at the box office too.
Blacula was one of the highest grossing films of the year.
What?
I'm serious.
That's crazy.
Both these films had theatrical releases.
Blacula was one of the most.
Well, everything did back then. Where the hell is he going to release it?
Yeah, I guess, man. I was thinking maybe like just kind of show it at drive-in or something. Yeah, I guess, right? Fuck, this is so fucking far removed from getting. Oh yeah, that's hilarious. Where are you gonna fucking see it exactly? Holy fucking brain farts! Jesus Christ, I'm fucking. I went full retard too. Sorry, so bad. But
Roger Ebert gave this one mostly negative reception, giving it a 1.5 out of 4 stars.
Oh, come on, man. This one's a lot more atmospheric than the first one. It's got a better feel to it, too, man. I think there's some...
I agree with that.
There's some pretty...
I think it's a better movie all around.
Yeah, me too, man. And I think there's some pretty interesting... Like, the musical sequences... They're feel
awesome.
They feel like a little bit of filler in the film, but they're totally awesome to watch. They're awesome. Do you guys watch the actual dance sequences in there?
Oh yeah,
awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love those scenes, man. They're great. They fit into the film perfectly, man. Again, man, William Marshall just fucking kills the role. He's so much more. I think he's a little bit more menacing even in this film because it is vicious. He's pissed off, right? So you expect him to amp it up a little bit more, a little more gory too, I think. But I just think the aesthetic of the film, it feels a lot bigger. It's just. In general,
there's more character arc and like depth to the character with him wanting to be saved and stuff like that, and a little bit more plot. It's still not, you know, amazing in terms of the story. It's still pretty paper thin, but it's definitely a step up.
There's 2 or 3 more things that are happening in this film. I mean, the first one's just so straightforward. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one cool thing that they did do is they took a different angle with Blacula, him wanting to not be the way he was anymore. And I think that's it's a little bit risky. You know, I was kind of thinking about it after, and I was like, you know, that would be something that I would probably do maybe in the third one, you know, for him to come and, you know, try to come full circle and be human again kind of thing.
This dude's planning trilogies.
Well, they obviously weren't planning trilogies. They obviously weren't planning trilogies because they did this in the second film, but I just kind of thought that idea would work great for, you know, the third type film, but it's still fun, though. I think it's a really fun film. Jeremy, you want to chime in on this one?
I mean, it's basically the first one. I said that earlier. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I'm kind of with Jeremy on. I don't have a ton to say about these movies. Honestly, they're very basic
one more
and
is
fun.
to say they follow the same storyline. Blacula, he gets resurrected. He summons a whole bunch of other motherfuckers. The cops come. Vampires kill more cops. Well, I mean, and then the ending happens.
Theoretically, they're pretty different. I mean, because the main focus in the first film is his love interest. In this one, it's more about getting human. There's no love interest really in this film. I mean, you may think that.
Yeah, but it still follows like a similar arc, though. I mean, it's not like a lot of deep stuff that you could talk about this one for a long time. I don't know what to say.
I don't know, man. Them bass licks are pretty damn deep. Pretty awesome stuff.
It's pretty cutting.
It really is. Like, you can't have, like, we're not gonna have a raw conversation about this.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to you.
No. Not really.
I have even less than I usually have to say.
I'll rate this one first. I liked both of these movies. I like this one more. Actually, even though I had an issue with like the possible motives of Blacula coming back and like how he didn't want to and stuff, I actually like how they did it. It's cool. It's neat, you know, the voodoo thing, and I like Pam Grier. Obviously, I love Pam Grier. I really do. Like, she's so cool to watch, and she's like, she always elevates a project. Like, she's in these like low budget, like, you know, no money and like no acting chop, you know, cast, and she just is like, she's like a A-lister in a D-list film. That's how it feels. You know what I mean? So it's always awesome to see her. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 7 out of 10.
Same rating as Blacula. 7 out of 10.
So apparently,
movie.
So apparently, I also gave this one a 7 before, but I'm gonna actually up my rating to 7.5 because I come to realization I actually do like this one a little bit more. I've said many times, like, love stories, not really my more favorite thing in the world, but I just like this one. It's a little more vicious, body count's a little bit higher. It feels like more of a full film, more atmospheric, a little bigger, aesthetic's awesome. So those things just kind of upped it half a point for me, but it's a fun ass film. It's a fun double feature to check out. So if you people out there listening to this ever thought that these were going to be like comedic films, not going to be for you and stuff, give them a shot. They're fun. They're fun. I know somebody commented in the group, like, I don't get that whole Blaxploitation thing. I just laughed. I was like, how can you not like Blaxploitation?
I mean, what is there to really get? It's just it's films that people made because there was an audience for them. Yeah. People wanted to see their culture in movies, and they wanted to see their visual flair and style and their dialogue and stuff. And for the most part, these were made for black people, and after years and years, like, we see them as like this little interesting section of time in film, and they're fun. I've pretty much liked every Blaxploitation film that I've seen. I liked Dolomite. I liked Blackenstein. I like Blackenstein a little bit less than Blacula and Scream, Blacula, Scream. But the Pam Grier movies, like Foxy Brown and Coffee. Oh, great. Especially Coffee. I love Coffee. And then even The Hammer, like, the movies are sweet, dude. They're fun.
I agree, man.
I like them. I don't know what there is that like, I mean, there's not really anything to get. It's just a type of movie, really. You know what I mean? Maybe
he's just racist and he doesn't like black people. He's like, I don't get it. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan. Well, I
think it's maybe because it's called Blaxploitation, and maybe people are like, oh, it's just exploiting blacks or something. You know what I mean? And that's really not what it is. It's exploiting the idea that there's an audience for these type of movies, and that audience is black people. At the time. Now it's anybody. You know what I mean? But predominantly, when these movies were in the theater, it was black people going to see them. So it's exploiting the idea that you're making movies for these people. Mm-hmm. It's not that they're exploiting black people.
It's just so funny, man. Like, the majority of these movies were directed by white people.
A lot of them were, but
most of them. I mean, Jack Hill did some of them.
Jack Hill
did Foxy Brown and Coffee, and I mean, Larry Cohen started his career doing Blaxploitation films with Black Caesar, and like, it's just kind of.
So yes, it is whites explain blacks. Damn it.
Pretty much. Man, this is gonna put it, man. But I mean, Jack Hill also did The Big Dollhouse. That's pretty cool. So, but yeah. Which also had Pam Grier in it. Which also had Pam Grier in it, and was produced by. Yeah, Roger Corman, of course. Yeah, good stuff. Machete Maidens, man. Machete Maidens, man. That's a fucking great documentary. I love that shit, man.
So is the one on Blaxploitation. What's it called? What is it called? Come on.
The Blaxploitation one, which is called.
I reviewed it on here.
Are you sure?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure.
I don't know, is there a full documentary about Blaxploitation films? Or am I just
dude.
Am I just tired and I can't fucking remember? I probably have it sitting right beside me right
It's like a long ass title.
Shit. I don't know. I feel stupid right now. But yeah. I don't know. It's a fun subgenre, man. I think we should maybe do some more down the road or something like that. Yeah.
Blaxploitation?
Yeah, man. Blaxploitation. We can find some more Blaxploitation horror. I mean, is
there a lot? I don't think there's that much horror though, right?
I mean, I could.
It's called Badass Cinema.
Oh, Badass. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one.
The something story of Blaxploitation or something.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. A bold look at Blaxploitation films. Pam Grier's on the cover.
Oh, I kept wanting to say it was Fred Williamson because he's like in every Blaxploitation film too.
Yeah, he's in it. Isaac Hayes,
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino, who's obviously a big fan.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many more horror. I don't know. I just know Blackenstein. That's,
You know, actually,
three
speaking
that
of Quentin Tarantino, something I actually forgot to mention earlier when I was doing the Werewolf Woman review. You know, Quentin Tarantino does like a film festival down in, I think it's Austin, Texas, like every year. And the very first year that he did his film festival, he kind of had like he wanted to show this film called Werewolf Woman, and he'd never seen it before. And so he ended up loving the film so much that he ended up actually, when he did his second year and third year and stuff like that, he actually ended up naming like the hidden film, like the Werewolf Woman type film, like every year, like after that one. So I thought that was actually pretty damn cool, man. Fucking pretty shit. What's the actual name of Tarantino's film festival? Do you know, Jeremy?
No, I didn't even know he had a festival.
Okay, because I know he's done it like lots of times down in Austin or whatever. So basically, the surprise film every year was dubbed the Wolf Woman film. So that's pretty cool. And it's actually, so if you guys are familiar with the film festival, it's because of Werewolf Woman. He loved it so much. But I thought that was very interesting. In the very first one, he would show a film that he'd never seen before. What happens if he fucking hated it? That would have been bizarre. I mean, it's this film festival, right? I mean, Tarantino showing shitty-ass films. Fucking, that's just strange to me, but yeah. I forgot to mention that. I thought that was a pretty interesting factoid about Tarantino and Werewolf Woman. Give you more reason to check it out, right? It's Tarantino's approved, stamp approved, so. But yeah, we're blabbling on here. Let's get the fuck out of here, guys. Thank you for tuning in to episode 107 here on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. Blaxploitation Volume 1, I'm going to dub it because maybe we will do. Actually, technically, this is kind of almost Volume 2 a little bit. We did Dolomite one time.
It wasn't like a feature.
It wasn't a feature,
but
but it was out of sorts to do that anyways. But it was fun to do. It was fun to do. So, but yeah. Anything else to add before Jeremy takes us out of here?
Please help get the sand out of my vagina.
I'm starving, man. I really need to order a pizza, man. Oh, I'm really, really hungry.
I'm gonna.
And where can they do that, Jeremy?
I'll get to that in a second. After I do my roller ritual, I'll have it in there. Don't worry,
Ritual?
JP.
What the hell's a
Don't you
ritual?
think you should put it first?
Sure.
If you want to follow our
Say ritual
Patreon
properly.
and support us and the show, please do so at patreon.com/22shotspodcast. Patreon.com/22shotspodcast. And please, please, please don't make me watch a shitty film. It's much appreciated, but I'll love you anyway. So, as always, if you want to follow the man Moodz himself, you could do so at youtube.com/Moodz616. If you want to follow the asshole who still shouldn't have gotten that box set, you could do so at youtube.com/DoubleShotJ. And please make sure he doesn't get the Puppet Master one when it comes out. And as always, you can follow me on my channel at youtube.com/NESRuler22. And as always, if you have any questions, you can leave us a voicemail at 724-426-6665. And also, you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/22shotspodcast. And if you have any questions, you can send us an email at 22shotsofmoodsandhorror@gmail.com. That's 22shotsofmoodsandhorror.com. And as always, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/22shotspodcast. And as always, check out our website, 22shotsofmoodsandhorror.com, and follow us on Horror Pack and get a Horror Pack and help us support the show even more. horrorpack.com/go/22shots. That should do it for episode 107 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. Next week, we'll be coming back with a trilogy of films that I picked because I've never even heard of them and I really want to do them. And that is the MTV trilogy of My Super Psycho Sweet 16. And this show is going to be fun. I have no idea what the hell these movies are about, and anything that has to do with MTV and
MTV slashers.
Yeah, I really want to check these out. So stay tuned for next week's episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. And it's always fuck you, Jerry, for killing Martin Landau and George Romero. And that should be it. Thank you.
And so after this happens, they start to notice that people are acting very, very strange outside and things like that. And as time goes,
Sorry for bothering you.
Of course.
So it says she's coming in at 10:15. She leaves New York. She leaves New York at 8:30. It says.
the fuck was that? Jesus Christ, Jeremy.
What? I'm so confused. What happened?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jeremy's because he doesn't have his fucking mic muted.
Oh, what the fuck, Jeremy?
So he's sitting
Sorry,
there
it's my
talking.
boss. I have to pick it up. It's my fucking boss.
Yeah, but dude, you can
So mute the mic.
mute
I
the-
forgot. I thought I pressed the button.
What is
I'm
this,
sorry.
episode 5?
I'm
Dude,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was my bad. I'll take full fuck up for that. I apologize.
Fucking amateur hour over here.
Oh
I
my
apologize.
lord, that was like blatant.
I
was like,
apologize.
I thought he stopped you to tell you something about the review.
no, he was like talking. I knew that he was talking to someone.
All right, well, do you want to just cut that and restart the whole review?
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
My fault.
I wrote down the cut point here. I'll just
add another fucking edit mark.
yeah, I'll just Jesus Christ, Jeremy. make sure your fucking thing is blinking
I'm sorry.
when you press it.
I usually am. When I'm not blinking, I'm fucking on the phone, but I'm always fucking blinking all the other times.
right.
That's my fuck.
All right.
All right.